the European countries. Importantly, what are the major takeaways as far as the meeting that's going to take place today? There you have Russian President in the Oris arriving at Hyderabad, the house where the bilateral talks are going to begin in a short while from now. In fact, as far as the bilateral talks are concerned, there's going to be a massive push that's expected to come in from the Russian side as far as the nuclear power hard sell is concerned. In fact, the Russians on board bringing in new generation large nuclear reactors that are to be brought in, and essentially the serial production that's going to take place. But the imaging that has been done in the last 24 hours, primarily with the Prime Minister landing at the Palam Technical Airport, receiving President Putin, the hug that takes place, and then, of course, the big headline coming in from both the leaders actually deciding to hop into the same car and spend the evening at 7 LKM, where there was a private dinner that took place that lasted for a couple of hours. And now the business begins. In fact, Russian President Vladimir Putin comes with one of the biggest delegation. The first Deputy Prime Minister, who had landed just before President Putin, had come in behind both the leaders, the delegation also walking in. What you would essentially expect both the leaders now doing is introducing each other's delegations also. Let me go across to my colleague Rakshita, who's joining us on this broadcast. Rakshita, on the negotiating table, some big ticket deals expected. We seem to have lost the line with Rakshita, who's joining us from Hyderabad house. In fact, we'll also go across to our experts who are basically joining us on this broadcast. Just to put this into perspective, what's really expected? Some essentially argued that this is essentially taking forward what was discussed previously in terms of some of the deals that have already been signed. The challenges, the key challenges that the Russians really face right now is the deadline that they have essentially given in terms of handing over multiple defense deals that have been signed in the past. We'll try and go across to our guest. Vinay Shukla is joining us on this broadcast. Vinay, let me first take with you with regards to what's really expected, the big takeaways from both the leaders coming together.
Well, I think that 25 agreements has to be signed, that 10 of them intergovernmental and 15 on the trade thing. And mostly the focus will be on economy in Russia, Indian exports to Russia, more to encourage such things. So, and the defense, of course, they are, they are in the media, all those things about the fifth generation fighter and missiles S-400, 500. But I think there's nothing going to be signed as such. Only they're discussed or whatever has to be signed has been signed. So officially they won't announce this defense deals in a big way. And second, one thing is important, which is, I think is there, that India, Russia's Roscosmos and ISRO are going to sign agreement on joint production of rocket engines, which is, of course, since India is expanding its space program and Russia has the expertise in this. It's a good thing. It's a future-oriented thing. I think that many things will be future-oriented also, or long-term implications. So right. Let us see, wait for some time.
Mr. Shukla, I'll request you to stay on with us. I want to quickly go across to my colleague Rakshita, who's joining us from outside the Hyderabad house. Rakshita, lots spoken about what's really expected to really come out from the bilateral talks that are taking place. On the agenda that came in from the Kremlin side was largely with regards to an extension of the deals that have already been signed. So not major announcements that are really expected to come in after the bilateral talks.
Yes, Shravan, well, what we understand is that at least what we are learning, of course not officially, but it could be 10 intergovernmental documents and more than 15 agreements and memorandums between commercial and non-commercial entities that are expected here to be in the works, and they are of course already in the works, and trade of course will be at the center of it all, trade and defense as you mentioned. India of course, Moscow has been the top defense supplier for decades as far as India is concerned. So yes, India, given the global climate right now, there are of course tensions with United States in context of trade, and Moscow becomes very, very important here given the fact that how realignment is happening. So yes, there will be agreements, we understand. There could be MOUs that will be signed. There is nothing spelled out, as you rightly mentioned, officially. There are a lot of talk about the Sukhoi 57. There's talk about the S-400, the delivery of the remaining two. Of course, that is something that even MOS, I beg your pardon, the Defense Secretary has made it very, very clear just a few days ago ahead of the visit of the President of Russia. But yes, there could be talks between the two leaders. How do they manifest, of course, remains to be seen. With regards to civil nuclear deals, that of course also becomes very, very important. India, of course, this is the first visit to India of President Vladimir Putin in 4 long years. And given how the war in Ukraine still continues and India continues to grapple with the trade talks, the trade tariffs with regards to Washington DC, all eyes will be on the joint statement, Shravan, that comes out after the talks are held on the delegation level, and of course both the leaders discussing holding discussions on these topics.
एक्सेलेंसी, आपकी यात्रा बहुत ही ऐतिहासिक है। 2001 में जब आपने कार्यभार संभाला और भारत की आपकी यात्रा पहली हुई, उसको आज 25 साल हो गए और उस पहली यात्रा में ही स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप की एक मजबूत नींव रखी गई थी।
Ваше превосходительство, дорогой друг, я очень рад этой возможности встретиться с вами и поприветствовать вас и вашу делегацию в нашей стране. Начиная с вчерашнего дня, представители вашей делегации провели очень много мероприятий, заседаний с своими коллегами с индийской стороны. И мы видим очень много результатов и соглашений по окончанию нашего саммита ежегодного. Поэтому я уверен, что наш саммит станет весьма успешным. И ваш нынешний визит, уважаемый господин президент, имеет по-настоящему историческое значение. Ровно 25 лет назад вы впервые посетили Индию в качестве президента Российской Федерации и заложили основу нашего стратегического партнерства.
मेरे लिए पर्सनली भी खुशी की बात है कि आपके साथ मेरे परिचय को और संबंधों को उसको भी 25 साल हो गए हैं।
Для меня лично тоже это важное событие, потому что мы знакомы с вами 25 лет.
एक्सेलेंसी, मैं मानता हूं कि ये जो 2001 में आपने जो भूमिका अदा की, एक विजनरी लीडर कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है।
Уважаемый господин президент, ваша роль, начиная с 2000 года, за последние 2,5 десятилетия, свидетельствует о вашем дальновидном и твердом руководстве и о том, как развивать двусторонние отношения. И это хороший пример для других отношений, как индийско-российские отношения развиваются.
एक्सेलेंसी, यूक्रेन के संकट के बाद हमारी लगातार चर्चा होती रही है। आपने भी समय समय पर एक सच्चे मित्र के रूप में हमें सभी चीजों से अवगत कराया है। मैं समझता हूं कि विश्वास बहुत बड़ी ताकत है और आपको मैंने अनेक बार इस विषय की चर्चा भी की है और विश्व समक्ष भी मैंने रखा है कि विश्व का कल्याण शांति के मार्ग पर ही है हम सबको मिलकर के शांति के रास्ते तलाशते जाएंगे। और पिछले दिनों जो प्रयास चल रहे हैं, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि विश्व फिर से एक बार शांति की दिशा में लौटेगा।
Уважаемый господин президент, мы регулярно обмениваемся мнениями по поводу Украины. Вы, как истинный друг, рассказываете мне о том, что происходит в этом направлении. Это свидетельствует о глубоком доверии между нашими странами. Это и есть сила, настоящая сила наших отношений. Мы видим, мир переживает очень много перемен, но мы последовательно поддерживаем позиции установления мира, скорейшего установления мира, и поддерживаем все усилия недавние в этом направлении. И мы должны все работать сообща для того, чтобы работать в этом направлении для установления мира. И я полностью уверен, что мир пойдет вновь на этом пути.
एक्सेलेंसी, पिछले दिनों विश्व समुदाय के सभी नेताओं से जब भी मेरी बात हुई और उन्होंने जब विस्तार से मेरी चर्चा की, मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि भारत न्यूट्रल नहीं, भारत का पक्ष है और वो पक्ष शांति का है। हम शांति के हर प्रयासों का समर्थन करते हैं और हम शांति के हर प्रयासों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिला करके खड़े हैं।
Ваше превосходительство, когда я встречаюсь с мировыми лидерами, я всегда им говорю, что Индия не нейтральная страна. У Индии нет нейтральной позиции, у нас своя позиция, и эта позиция в пользу мира. Это позиция мира. И мы поддерживаем все усилия, которые направлены на установление мира. И мы будем двигаться плечом к плечу со всеми державами, которые держатся этой пути.
पूरे विश्व ने कोविड से लेकर के अब तक कई संकटों से गुजरा है। हम आशा करते हैं कि बहुत ही जल्द विश्व को चिंताओं से मुक्ति मिलेगी और एक सही दिशा में प्रगति के राह पर विश्व समुदाय को एक नई आशा पैदा होगी। एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि आज दिन भर हम अनेक विषयों पर चर्चा करने वाले हैं। भारत और रशिया के आर्थिक संबंधों का अधिक विस्तार हो, हम नई नई ऊंचाइयों को प्राप्त करें, ऐसे बहुत ही आशावादी आउटकम के साथ हम हमारी इस मीटिंग को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, ये पूरा विश्वास है।
Уважаемый господин президент, весь мир страдал от пандемии ковид, и были также разные другие кризисы, поэтому мы надеемся, что мир вновь на пути прогресса, развития, и наша встреча будет вселить надежду в этот вопрос. Уважаемый господин президент, сегодня весь день мы будем разговаривать по разным темам. Пускай наша встреча придаст новый импульс нашему экономическому сотрудничеству. Мы возлагаем большие надежды на нашу сегодняшнюю встречу, и мы ожидаем хороших результатов по итогам нашей встречи.
My friend, मैं फिर से एक बार आपका और आपके डेलीगेशन हृदय से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ।
Дорогой друг, еще раз хотел бы поприветствовать вас и вашу делегацию в Индии.
Спасибо.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much.
Уважаемый господин премьер-министр, дорогие друзья, прежде всего спасибо большое за приглашение.
Excellency, Prime Minister, dear friends, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me.
И за вчерашний очень добрый вечер.
And for the yesterday's evening too, it was very good.
Дружеский, в то же время с такой содержательной, очень полезной беседой.
We had a friendly and at the same time a very substantial talk.
У нас была возможность, и дали мне такую возможность подробно рассказать о том, что происходит на как раз украинском направлении.
I could share a great deal of details about the events taking place in Ukraine.
И что нами предпринимается совместно с некоторыми другими партнерами, в том числе с Соединенными Штатами, по вопросу возможного мирного урегулирования этого кризиса.
And the actions we are taking together with some partners, including the United States, on a possible peaceful settlement.
Спасибо вам за это внимание и спасибо за ваши усилия, направленные на разрешение этой ситуации.
Thank you for the attention and for your efforts aimed at finding a solution to this situation.
Что касается наших отношений, то они действительно носят очень глубокий исторический характер. как бы мы его не характеризовали, какими бы эпитетами его не украшали, важно другое, важно содержание. Содержание очень глубоко.
Our relations are deeply rooted into history, but it is not the words that matter, it is the substance of the matter which is very profound.
Мы этим очень дорожим, и мы видим, что вы, уважаемый господин премьер-министр, уделяете этому тоже очень большое личное внимание.
We really appreciate that and the fact that you actually give personal attention to that.
За прошедшие годы нами проделана очень большая работа в развитии наших отношений.
Over the past years, we have done a great deal of work to develop our relationship.
И по мере развития наших стран, по мере развития экономик наших государств, возможности нашего сотрудничества расширяются.
As our countries and our economies move forward, we have more opportunities for cooperation.
У нас появляются новые направления.
We open additional areas for cooperation,
связанные с высокими технологиями,
including those related to high-tech,
связанные с развитием и совместной работы в области авиации, космоса, высоких технологий в широком смысле слова, искусственного интеллекта.
As well as the cooperation of aircraft, space exploration, high-tech and artificial intelligence.
У нас очень доверительные отношения в сфере военно-технического взаимодействия.
We have very close and trusting cooperation in the military and technical area.
Мы намерены двигаться по всем этим направлениям.
And we are planning to move forward in all of these areas.
Это только лишний раз подчеркивает уровень, характер и доверительность наших связей.
This once again underscores the level and the trust of our relationship.
Наши команды очень хорошо поработали в преддверии этого визита.
Our teams have done a great work before this visit.
Подготовлен целый ряд документов солидных.
They have prepared a great number of documents for us.
У нас есть возможность на чем-то остановиться, что-то обсудить дополнительно.
We have an opportunity to talk in more detail about some of them.
Ну и уверен, что мы сегодняшний рабочий день завершим с хорошим результатом.
I am sure that we will have a very fruitful working day.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
That's the latest visual coming in, ladies and gentlemen, from the Hyderabad house, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having a full complement bilateral discussions for the 23rd annual summit between India and Russia with Russian President Vladimir Putin. There was a strong statement coming in from the Russian president there, saying that he is hopeful and he has full faith that we will enhance the economic ties between India and Russia and scale the relationship to even greater heights. The Russian president there once again reaffirming the special privileged partnership that the both nations have together. All right, let's once again listen in to that key statement coming in from Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Prime Minister as they speak at the Hyderabad house.
एक्सेलेंसी, मेरे परम मित्र, मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि मुझे फिर से एक बार भारत में आपका स्वागत करने का अवसर मिला है। कल से आपके डेलीगेशन के लोग अनेक मीटिंगों में व्यस्त रहे हैं और बहुत सारे आउटकम के साथ आज हमारी ये समिट आगे बढ़ रही है। एक्सेलेंसी, आपकी यात्रा बहुत ही ऐतिहासिक है। 2001 में जब आपने कार्यभार संभाला और भारत की आपकी यात्रा पहली हुई, उसको आज 25 साल हो गए और उस पहली यात्रा में ही स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप की एक मजबूत नींव रखी गई थी। मेरे लिए पर्सनली भी खुशी की बात है कि आपके साथ मेरे परिचय को और संबंधों को उसको भी 25 साल हो गए हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, मैं मानता हूं कि ये जो 2001 में आपने जो भूमिका अदा की, एक विजनरी लीडर कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है। एक्सेलेंसी, यूक्रेन के संकट के बाद हमारी लगातार चर्चा होती रही है। आपने भी समय समय पर एक सच्चे मित्र के रूप में हमें सभी चीजों से अवगत कराया है। मैं समझता हूं कि विश्वास बहुत बड़ी ताकत है और आपको मैंने अनेक बार इस विषय की चर्चा भी की है और विश्व समक्ष भी मैंने रखा है कि विश्व का कल्याण शांति के मार्ग पर ही है। हम सबको मिलकर के शांति के रास्ते तलाशते जाएंगे और पिछले दिनों जो प्रयास चल रहे हैं, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि विश्व फिर से एक बार शांति की दिशा में लौटेगा। एक्सेलेंसी, पिछले दिनों विश्व समुदाय के सभी नेताओं से जब भी मेरी बात हुई है और उन्होंने जब विस्तार से मेरी चर्चा की, मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि भारत न्यूट्रल नहीं है, भारत का पक्ष है और वो पक्ष शांति का है। हम शांति के हर प्रयासों का समर्थन करते हैं और हम शांति के हर प्रयासों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिला करके खड़े हैं। पूरे विश्व ने कोविड से लेकर के अब तक कई संकटों से गुजरा है। हम आशा करते हैं कि बहुत ही जल्द विश्व को चिंताओं से मुक्ति मिलेगी और एक सही दिशा में प्रगति के राह पर विश्व समुदाय को एक नई आशा पैदा होगी। एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि आज दिन भर हम अनेक विषयों पर चर्चा करने वाले हैं। भारत और रशिया के आर्थिक संबंधों का अधिक विस्तार हो, हम नई नई ऊंचाइयों को प्राप्त करें, ऐसे बहुत ही आशावादी आउटकम के साथ हम हमारी इस मीटिंग को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, यह मेरा पूरा विश्वास है। माय फ्रेंड, मैं फिर से एक बार आपका और आपके डेलीगेशन हृदय से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं।
The 23rd edition of the India-Russia Bilateral Summit is underway at the Hyderabad House. Both President Putin and Prime Minister Modi have given their initial opening statements to the media, and we will be now waiting for that joint statement when we come right back, ladies and gentlemen. After a very short break, do not go anywhere. The fastest updates on President Putin's visit, only on Republic.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आर मसाला।
And Europe, all of a sudden, wants to start a war. And if it does start a war, then...
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend, on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
सर थोड़ा सा पीछे आ जाएंगे सर। सर इस बैरिकेड के पीछे आ जाएगा।
Upon the arrival of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister Narendra Modi surprised everyone by personally receiving him at Delhi's Palam Airport. This is a rare gesture that moves away from the standard diplomatic protocol, where normally a minister or senior official welcomes a visiting head of state. President Putin landed in Palam Airport at 7 p.m., where a red carpet was rolled out as a welcoming gesture. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov reacted to the surprise and said, Indian PM's decision to meet President Putin at the
कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है.
Russian President Vladimir Putin holds bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Hyderabad house. President Putin receives a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan as India and Russia summit opens. All Indigo domestic flights from Mumbai cancelled till 6 p.m. today after airlines run short on crew once again. After Mumbai, Indigo also says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport till midnight tonight. As major airlines go in a mess, DGCA asks Indigo to regulate the fares. Meanwhile, hotels around major airports also hike prices to 6,000 per night. 60,000, beg your pardon. Ladies and gentlemen, if only the Indigo national crisis on aviation was not enough, after Mumbai and Delhi airport, we are getting in fresh information that Indigo has cancelled all departing flights from the Chennai airport till about 6 p.m. this evening. This marks the third major national airport where Indigo is not going to carry any flights today. Earlier this morning, we also got information from the Mumbai airport where Indigo has suspended all flights till 6 p.m. in the evening. In Delhi, the situation is even more dire. India's most busiest airport, Indigo is not going to operate a single flight up till 12 a.m. tonight. At least that's the information available as it stands. And now, more concerning information coming in from the Chennai airport, where Indigo has cancelled all the flights up until 6 p.m. this evening. The cascading effect of the FDTL norms on Indigo's crew management is now resulted in a widespread all-out blanket cancellation of Indigo flights across all major airports. The Indigo is in a complete state of mess where domestic flights have been cancelled en masse today. The carrier's response has been not that satisfactory to the passengers, and amidst this, the chaos is that the passengers are stranded at the airports and the fares of the hotels nearby the airports are now skyrocketing. The passenger is completely left at the lurch. My colleague Shambhavi first joins us live from the Delhi IGI airport, bringing us more details. Shambhavi, no flights for Indigo till about midnight tonight.
Well, right, Shrutat, we've been constantly reporting from the airport, and we have spoken to several people who are aggrieved by this Indigo crisis, by this airport meltdown. And you very rightly pointed out the rise in prices of the hotels, or if you're talking about the rise in prices of the tickets of other airlines. We just spoke to one of the passengers who had booked a flight for Chennai, from Delhi to Chennai, Indigo, and there were several delays in the flight. Every time he went on to ask about the new timing of the flight, the Indigo people, they directed him that it's going to be 2 hours late, and that happened for several hours. And when he looked for another flight in, let's say, Air India or other airlines, the ticket, which usually costs from 9,000 to 11,000, it costed him around 60,000. So definitely we see that whether it's hotels, whether it's other airlines, they're definitely taking undue advantage of this situation of the people who are stuck on the airport. And even inside, we've been told by several passengers who've come out, whose flights have been cancelled, that the entire situation inside is like a railway station. People are lying on sheets on the airport everywhere. There's total chaos. There's shouting, sloganeering going on inside. And we know that Indigo finally has come out and said that there's a blanket cancellation on all the flights till midnight.
All right, Shambhavi, that's the latest coming in, ladies and gentlemen, from the Delhi airport. Now, let me also bring you voices of the passengers who have been stranded at the Chennai airport and the Delhi airport as the Indigo crisis continues to cascade. Just listen into the plight of the passengers, viewers.
The tickets so that we will seek some other plan through train or other. And this Indigo has done a blunder. And I firmly say that the government should take action against these companies, because see, every passengers are under van. They are in trouble. They are having small kids. They are in trouble. We are supposed to go to the Indore. Now the question is how we will go to the Indore and when we will go to the Indore, when we will reach to the destination. So the central government should take action against, and stern action should be taken against these companies, and CBI inquiry should be raised.
So what did the Indigo Airlines inform you about, whether there's a delay or whether there's a cancellation about your flight?
Yesterday the flight was cancelled, so we stay at the hotel there in Chennai, and now we are there to recover the luggage. Hopefully we'll get it.
As Indigo mentioned that your flight will be delayed or cancelled from message also?
It was delayed, so we decided to leave because we have seen all the flight delayed, so we saw that it will never happen. So yeah, we came back to the hotel and stayed there for the night. Yeah.
Sir, did the airlines reach out to you telling that there will be a cancellation of your flight and there's no flights for the next 2 days? Because according to Indigo, until 8th there are all cancellations. No other flights are to run until the 8th. Has that information reached you yet?
Not really. It was delaying. So we decided by ourselves. And even perhaps today I'm looking at the flight is still delayed, so I don't know exactly what's happening.
Still not informed whether the flight would be either cancelled or delayed completely, and it is to their understanding that they realize it's cancelled and they are booking hotels to stay in Chennai until they reach their destination.
Passengers across the country have been facing with Indigo flights the constant cancellations and delays. Today we have with us a company, V-Star, which is a Bangalore-based company, and they are among the aggrieved people from this entire Indigo fiasco. We'll try to speak to them. Sir, क्या तकलीफ हो रही है?
मैडम देखिए, डोंट गो इंडिगो. हमको इतनी दिक्कत आई है. एक बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हमारा सेमिनार था. अभी पूरे बैंगलोर से आए हैं, जो भी आए हैं एयर इंडिया से, अदर फ्लाइट से आए हैं. अभी भी 70 लोग रुके हैं. रात 1 बजे आया है, कोई 12 बजे आया है. रीशेड्यूल करके दे रहे हैं. तुरंत 10 मिनट के बाद बोल रहे हैं कि आपका लखनऊ से, उधर से, इधर से फिर कैंसिल कर लो, पैसा ले लो. ओके, मैं बोलता हूँ कि वर्स्ट सर्विस है. डोंट गो इंडिगो. हम इतना टेंशन में आ गए हैं. इतना इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोग्राम है. क्या करेंगे आप इसके बारे में?
इतना तंग हो चुके हैं कि हम लोगों को इतना ये है कि हम लोगों का 5 दिन का प्रोग्राम था. एक फ्लाइट इंडिगो वजह से पूरा 5 दिन का प्रोग्राम हम लोगों को नुकसान कर दिया. सो पूरा घटिया सर्विस है. हम लोगों का अभी भी 70 लोग बाकी है.
लोगों की चिंता नहीं है. किसी कोई मरा हुआ है, कोई का इंपॉर्टेंट इंटरव्यू है, किसी की जिंदगी लगी है, कोई सामने आके रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं ले रहा है कि इनका क्या होगा. वो बोल रहे हैं कि रिफंड ले लो. रिफंड लेने के लिए आए थे क्या? कोई उनकी दाव लगी है, जिंदगी की दाव लगी है. किसी की जिंदगी मिट जाएगी, लेकिन इनको लोगों को टेंशन नहीं है. जब आपके पास घटिया सर्विस है, कोई बोल रहा है कि इनकी सैलरी नहीं दिया. अभी मैसेज तो मिल रहा है कि इनकी स्टाफ की सैलरी, क्रू की सैलरी नहीं हुई, इसलिए ये धरना कर रहे हैं. अब इनकी धरना से लोग मर रहे हैं, लोगों की जिंदगी तबाह हो रही है. इसका कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबल है?
मैडम, हमारा अभी 250 लोगों का प्रोग्राम था. ये जो बेंगलोर से दिल्ली आए हैं, दिल्ली से शिमला जाएंगे. हमारे होटल बुक हैं, सेमिनार था हमारा, वो अभी उसका पैसा खराब हो गया इनके चक्कर में, इंडिगो के चक्कर में. इनकी हमेशा ही रहता है ऐसा, और अब की बार तो कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है. ये अभी मतलब 250 लोगों का होटल, 250 लोगों की ट्रैवलिंग, वो सब कुछ मतलब अस्त व्यस्त कर दिया इन लोगों ने. अभी कुछ लोग हमारे आगे, कुछ अभी रीशेड्यूल, खाना खा लो, ड्रिंक कर लो, ऐसे ऑफर दे रहे हैं ये लोग. तो ये इससे काम नहीं चलेगा ना.
दूसरा देखो, खाने पीने की कोई व्यवस्था तो नहीं दे रहे. ओके, एक दिन एयरपोर्ट में कॉफी पीना कितना कॉस्टली है. मिडिल क्लास, अपर मिडिल क्लास, लोअर मिडिल क्लास के लोग हैं. अगर वो खाना खाएंगे तो कम से कम 24 आवर्स से लोग उधर हैं. ये हमारा इतना इंपॉर्टेंट था कि ये कंपनी के साथ हमारी पूरे लोगों की हमारी टाई अप था. आज। अब वो अगर नहीं है तो बड़ी कंपनी टाई अप हो रही है वी स्टार के अंदर, तो अगर अब आज वो कैंसिल हो गया तो इसके जिम्मेदार कौन है?
आपने बताया कि अभी भी आपके कंपनी के कई लोग हैं जो फंसे हुए हैं।
अभी 70 लोग हैं मैडम, 70
जो
लोग
बेंगलोर रुक गए, अभी कुछ लोग यहाँ आ गए, तो मतलब व्यवस्था है तो सारी खराब होगी ना।
शुगर पेशेंट है, उनको ब्रेकफास्ट करना है, वो टैबलेट्स लेना है, अब वहाँ पर वो कितना करके खाएंगे, आउटसाइड जाएंगे तो उनको दिक्कत। अभी रिशेड्यूल करके
इंडिगो किस तरीके से प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रही है?
कुछ भी कोई नहीं आ रहा है। वो 2-3 लोगों को अपॉइंट किया है, वो कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं ले रहे, बोल रहे हैं आप रिफंड ले लो, ये कर लो, वो कर लो। बहुत दिक्कत आ गई है मैडम, इसके ऊपर एक्शन लेना है, कड़ी एक्शन लेना है। हम तो धरना करने की सोच रहे हैं इसके बारे में।
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the largest team of reporters reporting on ground on the national aviation crisis. But I want to first go to our senior colleague Niranjan. Niranjan, it is an all-out anarchy situation in the aviation sector as it stands. The other airlines are profiteering on the crisis of Indigo. Hotel prices have gone up and passengers are left standing outside the airport without a ticket or accommodation or any redressal. What's the crisis and what are the updates that you're tracking?
Well, believe it or not, at some airlines, this morning, let me give you some examples. For example, today, as of this minute, Delhi to Chennai flight is priced at 58,000. I'm looking at the prices being shown online. For example, this is Air India flight that is charging or showing as 58,000. Right? That is only one sector, Delhi to Chennai. Similarly, when I look at some other sectors, Bengaluru to Delhi to Bangalore. If I look at the average prices, the cheapest flight right now is 20,000. If I give you some more case studies, as of this minute, there are planes, there are airlines that are costing about, that are charging about, 50 to 60,000, upwards of 80,000 on some sectors. Let me give you some specifics. There is a flight from Delhi to Bengaluru that was shown as 51,000 by Air India Express, and this was a flight that was showing for this evening 6:40 takeoff, lands at 1 a.m. Being charged 51,000, shown as 51,000 on portals, and all the other airlines that are mostly not affected, Air India Express, Akasa, SpiceJet, profiteering. You look at, for example, Air India, there is a flight that I'm looking at right now and I have the screenshot with me. The flight from Delhi to Hyderabad to Delhi being charged at 47,000 by Air India. There is just one example. And then, believe it or not, there is a flight by SpiceJet. SpiceJet operating a flight from Mumbai to Kolkata. SpiceJet flight charged 75,000 rupees. Now the irony is, for 75,000, you can get a return ticket to America. You can get a direct flight from Delhi to America. You can get a return flight. And here you have airlines, Indian airlines like SpiceJet, Akasa, Air India Express, those airlines that have not been affected, profiteering on chaos that is ongoing. And this is, let me tell you another example. I have a flight here that is showing for 40,000 rupees. And this is a flight from Delhi to the Bengaluru sector, Akasa operating this flight, showing as 40,000 rupees for a 2-hour flight, 2-hour 40-minute flight from Delhi to Bengaluru being charged at 40,000. Now this is not just chaos for flights that are operating and airlines that are not impacted. Let me give you another example of the manner in which there is looting happening during this chaos. There are hotels, and these are mostly hotels that are very close to the airport. For example, there is Aerocity close to Delhi's IGI airport and Terminal 1, 2, 3. And in Aerocity, when the average cost of room is, let's say, between 8,000 to 15,000, right now, 2-star and 3-star hotels also charging upwards of 30,000. So it's this insane situation. If you have a ticket, if you have a flight booked, let's say from Delhi to Bangalore, and you go to the airport, first of all, there is a long queue to enter the airport. You manage to enter the airport, and then you don't find any Indigo staff there to help you or give you an idea about when your flight is. And when you go to the boarding gate, or let's say to your gate, there is absolutely no clarity on whether your flight will take off or not. In Delhi, all flights cancelled. Mumbai, all flights cancelled till 6 o'clock. Chennai, all flights cancelled till 6 o'clock. Just today alone, in the last few hours, Upwards of 600 flights have been cancelled. Yesterday, 550 flights cancelled. 1,000 and more flights cancelled as of this minute. And those who are profiteering should be really ashamed of themselves. Many airlines are charging 3x, 4x of the normal fares. And let me tell you, there is some more breaking news update that's coming in. Videos, non-stop videos coming in of the chaos at the different airports. I want to tell you that from the different airports, I think there are some videos coming in. Let's play out those videos as well. As we get you the breaking news updates.
Ladies and gentlemen, where the Bengaluru airport is seeing complete chaos as cancellations continue to ramp up for Indigo with more flight disruptions there. The passengers are completely angry. They have surrounded the counters of Indigo there. Some heavy sloganeering also taking place at the passengers demand some answers and redressal as to what is going on with Indigo Airlines, as one after the other the flights are being cancelled without prior notification. Proper redressal mechanism, refund status continues to be remaining unseen. But most importantly, Niranjan, in these situations is the passenger wants to reach their destination. India is one of the most booming aviation markets in the entire world, and aviation sector has seen a significant rise in passengers traffic. They are willing to pay a premium to travel on time to reach their destinations quickly. Many of these passengers going in for very crucial visits, some health related, some family functions related, some even for vacation or leisure, but they have connecting flights and bookings and so on and so forth, which are compounding into losses of time and both resources and money. At the same time, my colleague Shankar is also joining me live from Thiruvananthapuram, where more than 10 plus Indigo flights have been cancelled on the domestic and international sectors. Shankar, these are the visuals on your screen at the moment of the Bengaluru airport, but do tell us what's going on in Kerala and the chaos that is ensuing due to the cascading effect of this Indigo crew shortages.
As per the latest information available from the airport authorities and from the Indigo staff, as many as 6 flights are going to be cancelled in the coming minutes, because the Indigo staff claim that no flights are landing at the airport, and this is they don't know the exact reason why the flights are not arriving in the airport, and due to this they are forced to cancel as many as 6 flights soon, and in the morning they cancelled 2 flights, and with this the total number of flights which are going to be cancelled will rise to 8, and the passengers are still seated inside the airport, and they are having a quarrel with the Indigo staff, and the passengers are demanding to provide accommodation and food for them as a compensation till they get an accurate information on when they would be able to fly. In the meantime, most of the passengers are going out of the airport to get to book rooms to stay back to plan their travel arrangements. Some are even planning to go to various other destinations in interstate buses and in trains. But the interstate buses are charging high fares by making use of the situation. Like for a travel in an interstate Volvo bus was costing 1,500 rupees before. Now they are charging over 5,000 and even 6,000-7,000 rupees from the passengers. The hotels in the city are also exploiting the passengers. When we inquire at the hotels here, the hotel staff are informing that almost all the rooms are full, and by making use of the high demand, they are charging over 5,000 to 6,000 rupees for non-AC single rooms. Earlier, for a non-AC single room was only 1,500 rupees. Now the hotel staff, the hotel authorities, hotel management charge over 5,000 to 6,000 rupees for non-AC rooms and over 10,000 rupees for a single AC room. The situation is going to get accelerated in the coming hours. More and more passengers are coming out to the airport looking for alternative options.
All right, so it's complete chaos there, Shankar, as you are explaining to us in Thiruvananthapuram. Ladies and gentlemen, you just substitute the name of the airport, but the story is the same. Hike in flight prices of competitors, hike in hotel prices, hike in alternative transport, and passengers have been struck left, right and center. Let me bring you a report now coming in from Chennai that my colleague Sharda had filed just a few minutes ago, where the national skating team has been stuck there, going in for the skating championship, and how athletes also have been facing disruptions. This is just one snippet, ladies and gentlemen, one example of how how passengers are missing crucial events and crucial places where they're supposed to be. But this complete apathy of this national aviation crisis triggered by Indigo crowd shortages and crew shortages has resulted in complete chaos and disruption. Take a look at this report.
Yeah, it's a very big chaotic situation that we put ourselves into this because we have no other way to go. We are in a tight situation and it's really hectic. I mean, it doesn't mean like we can't take any further decision, but it's completely terrible, dude, because we came early in the morning, we wait for the luggage drop in, then we we haven't got any mail or something that your flight is going to be cancelled. We just came here, then they're saying, no, we can't take you in, this and that. Then they said like, no flights available, we went out. Then again I got a text that your flight will be at 10:40 or 11:40. Then again we came, we all bunch bananas, we came here. Then again the same thing. Like, I don't know, like, see, you should have some proper way of communication. It should be clear, either this or that, because Indigo is a very big brand, right? So
what is your next plan? How are you going to take your team? Because you have
no, we had an alternative plan, so we're gonna go by bus. So that is the only option. That is the only good option that we have. So I hope we will reach very soon and with good health and mind relaxations. Thank you.
all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that's the national skating team that's going to be traveling from Chennai to make sure that if their flights are cancelled, they have to take the bus now to make sure that they reach the competition on time.
Gentlemen, that's the situation at the Chennai airport. Now we are getting more breaking news visuals from the Pune airport, where the situation for a second straight day continues to remain very grim. Yesterday we had seen a no time was issued for Pune airport because 9 out of the 10 parking bays for aircraft were occupied by Indigo, and today as well the situation continues to remain very grim. These are not visuals of yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, these are visuals of today, but the scenes are exactly the same. Indigo staff once again surrounded by passengers who are completely concerned, in a complete state of chaos. They have passed their boarding checks, they have passed their security checks, they're standing at the boarding gates and they have no answers, and the passengers now garroting the staff, demanding answers. The staff there stands confused with no answers, only templated responses, no signal of any redressal or alternative flights, as Indigo operations pan-India, ladies and gentlemen, go into a complete state of paralysis. Listen into the on-ground sentiment there at the Pune airport.
You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is it?
Your operational issues are not our problem.
Last 1 hour you have done nothing. You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is it?
Your operational issues are not our problem.
Last 1 hour you have done nothing. You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is it?
Your operational issues are not our problem.
Last 1 hour you have done nothing. You give us a solution. You don't tell what is diverted, where is it?
Your operational issues are not our problem.
Last 1 hour you have done nothing.
All right, chaos, confusion and cries for help, ladies and gentlemen. That's the on-ground sentiment there at the Pune airport, where women, children, elderly, men, all of them have been stranded for hours long, and the only response that they are getting from their flight and Indigo is a templated response of an apology, but no sign of redressal. You can hear passengers there are urging and almost in a very panicky and crying tone to the Indigo crew there that please give us a solution, but the flight crew members there also stand helplessly with no answers to offer and only apologies to front for their corporate leaders who have completely messed up the FDL flight management of the crew and the pilots with the new regulations kicking in on November 1st. Republic has the longest and the biggest on-ground team, ladies and gentlemen, covering the updates from airports across India. As for a second straight day, you can see at the Pune airport, the chaos continues to cascade, which has been in fact one of the worst hit sectors, which has led to a lot of cascading effects, and various flights have been cancelled. We were just hearing from Shankar from Thiruvananthapuram. The Pune to Thiruvananthapuram flight was also cancelled today. In fact, flight operations from Mumbai and Delhi have been suspended for Indigo for almost the entirety of day. My colleague Shambhavi is reporting for us live from Delhi airport outside IGI, where up until 12 a.m. tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for next 12 hours, 11 hours effectively, there is going to be not a single Indigo flight taking off from India's busiest airport. India's second busiest airport, which is Mumbai International Airport. No Indigo flights to take off up until 6 p.m. as of now, the latest update. From Bengaluru, the situation remains the same. No Indigo flight takeoffs, and even from Chennai. So your 4 major airports across India. Indigo, the biggest airline in the country, which almost 60% market share, Shambhavi, says that they do not have crew to put their planes in the air and connect their partners and passengers to their destinations. It is complete chaos.
Right, Shrutat, and we are bringing ground updates to you. We are bringing the passengers, the aggrieved passengers who have been stuck someone has been stuck for 2 days, someone has been stuck for 26 hours. We'll be first speaking to this gentleman who has been stuck here for two days now.
Good afternoon. After meeting you, we got to know it's morning or afternoon. So I would like to inform that from yesterday morning, from 10 o'clock I am here. My first flight was for Delhi to Bombay. So as soon as I came, I boarded and went inside. So I saw that there was a lot of rush and everything was going on. Nothing was smooth. Everything was very much here and there. And then I got to see the flight got delayed. First it got delayed for 1 hour, then again 1 hour. Then they started changing the gates. Then we went to the other gates and here and there. Then finally after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we got to know that the flight is cancelled. Then for coming outside, there was a big queue, more than 200, 300 people in a queue. And only one person, manually, she started writing, everybody's boarding pass. She started taking boarding pass and then ID documents, and then she left us out. And after that, for the baggages, again, then we have to go, and then again a line for that. And after taking that, then again to the ground staff, we came here to the help desk where we came for the rescheduling of the flight. And by anyhow, we waited for much 2-3 hours, and then we got a flight rescheduled for the night flight. And same way after coming night also the same thing happened. 1 hour, 2 hour delay. The things that was displayed on the board was different, and what was actually it was different. Then again late, and then till morning we waited. This morning, yesterday night 10:15 flight it was, and today morning till 11-12 o'clock we waited, but no help from anybody.
You're telling us that Indigo is not giving any clarity whether if at once they can tell us that by midnight the flight stands cancelled. But instead, we've gotten this report from other passengers as well that they're telling you that the flight stands cancelled till 2 hours and then again to 2 hours. That is the condition.
Yeah, actually they did not inform us in prior. If they were knowing, today also they were knowing that today's flight was cancelled. So earlier they said that the flight is cancelled. The thing was displayed on the board that the flight is cancelled. But we went, suddenly we got a message in the mobile that we revised timing, that the flight is delayed due to operational reasons and the flight will run at 9:55. But then when we got to check with the person, I spoke to the person on video call through GMR. Even she was saying that if the ground staff is saying or somebody is saying, Indigo staff, the flight is going to run, you have to wait. So when we went there, they said it's running. But then got to know that after all, after waiting till 12 o'clock, again then the flight was cancelled and no help. Nobody was there on the ground. No single staff was there. There were elderly people, children, small kids, 6 months kids were there. Nobody was there to help. Not a bottle of water, glass of water was served to the passengers. No accommodation, nothing. Totally irresponsible, they behaved.
So viewers, we are seeing that it's not just a matter of continuous cancellations and delays, but also miserable behavior of the Indigo staff. We have another passenger with us who is a victim.
Yes, Shambhavi, but just a second, I will have to hold you there, Shambhavi, because I'm also getting in more breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, from the Pune International Airport, where the chaos continues to cascade. These are the latest visuals coming in with Republic, the only network in the entire nation tracking the latest network. This is the same trolley gate, ladies and gentlemen, where we had seen passengers stranded in an endless queue with no sign of any clarity as to where they're supposed to be headed or what they are supposed to do. And 24 hours on, the passenger situation at the Pune International Airport continues to remain exactly the same, if not worse. The passengers and the endless queues of trolley, you can see this is the trolley gate at the Pune International Airport, where the queues are only getting longer and the answers of Indigo and the airlines who are in chaos only are getting shorter. But the passengers there standing without any redressal, with Pune representing as a beacon of this colossal crisis of aviation that has been triggered, which has led to a chain reaction of multiple flight cancellations across India. These are the latest visuals coming in. Republic, the only network bringing you the latest visuals from inside airports across India as stranded passengers continue to ask for answers on unanswered doors, and Republic will continue to raise their voices, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the day with our endless end-to-end coverage of all the major airports with the biggest team of reporters reporting from Ground Zero.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
And Europe, all of a sudden, wants to start a war. And if it does start a war, then very rapidly there might be a situation where we have no one to negotiate with.
When Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that if Europe starts a fight, it would soon escalate to a point where Russia has no one to negotiate with.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
एक विजनरी लीडर कैसे सोचता है, कहां से शुरू करता है और संबंधों को कहां तक पहुंचा सकता है, इसका एक उत्तम उदाहरण भारत रशिया के संबंध है।
Russian President Vladimir Putin holds a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi at the Hyderabad house. President Putin receives a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan as India and Russia summit opens. All Indigo domestic flights from Mumbai cancelled till 6 p.m. today after Airlines once again runs short on crew. After Mumbai, Indigo says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport as well up until midnight tonight. As major airlines go into a mess, the Director General for Civil Aviation asks Indigo to regulate the fares. Meanwhile, hotels and prices at around major airports are hiking up to 60,000 per night. Ladies and gentlemen, our continuing and rolling coverage on the pan-India aviation emergency continues. Hundreds of Indigo flights have been cancelled across airports in India. In Delhi, there are going to be no Indigo flights till about 12 a.m. tonight. In Mumbai, till 6 p.m. In Chennai, till 6 p.m. In Bengaluru, also multiple Indigo flights have been cancelled. The visuals on your screen are from the Pune airport, where complete chaos continues for a second straight day, and Indigo has cancelled effectively all of its domestic operations up until 6 p.m. at all major international airports. In Delhi, the biggest airport in the country, the situation is such grim that Indigo has said that they have no crew to put up any flight in air from Delhi till about 12 a.m. midnight. My colleague Gursimran now joins us live on the broadcast with more details. He's tracking. We have the biggest team of reporters, ladies and gentlemen, joining us live on the broadcast. And Gursimran, do tell us the update from where you are reporting and what is the situation at the airport.
See, right now I'm reporting from Jammu Airport, where all 9 flights of the Indigo have been cancelled, and I'm joined by the airport director देवेंद्र यादव. सर, यहाँ पर सबसे बड़े ऑपरेटर्स के तौर पे इंडिगो काम करता है. अभी का क्या स्टेटस है? सभी फ्लाइट्स कैंसिल कर दी गई हैं?
जी, आज इंडिगो की 11 फ्लाइट्स शेड्यूल थी और सभी 11 की 11 जो हैं वो कैंसिल कर दी गई हैं. इंडिगो के अलावा जो बाकी जो एयरक्राफ्ट ऑपरेटर्स हैं तो उनकी फ़्लाइट एज़ पर शेड्यूल नॉर्मल चल रही है.
सर, क्योंकि सबसे बड़ा ऑपरेटर है तो किस तरह से ऑपरेशंस जो हैं वो आपके हिट हुए हैं, क्योंकि हाफ ऑफ द फ्लाइट्स यही ऑपरेट करते हैं?
ऑपरेशंस के ऊपर तो यस एक काफ़ी इम्पैक्ट आया है, बट इट हैज़ बिन मैनेज्ड. जो पैसेंजर्स हैं एज़ पर इंडिगो स्टेशन मैनेजर्स, तो उनको यहाँ पर अकोमोडेशन और जो लोकल ट्रांसपोर्ट है वो प्रोवाइड किया गया है, और बाकी जो एयरलाइंस हैं उनमें जहाँ तक अकोमोडेशन हो पा रहा है उनका अकोमोडेशन किया गया है.
सर, आप क्योंकि शुरू से ही ड्यूटी रोस्टर को ट्रैक कर रहे थे, 1 दिसंबर से ही ये दिक्कतें आनी शुरू हो गई थी?
यहाँ पर जो इम्पैक्ट आया है वो कल से आना स्टार्ट हुआ है, क्योंकि वेडनेसडे को जैसे यहाँ पे वैसे नोटम रहता है, तो थर्सडे से जो इम्पैक्ट है, कल कुछ 4 फ्लाइट्स जो थी वो कैंसिल हुई थी, और आज लगभग इनकी 11 फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई हैं. तो आज मेजर इम्पैक्ट हमें.
तो सर, अभी जो ऑपरेशन टीम है इंडिगो की, क्या वो कुछ बता पा रही है कि कब तक जो है वो एक स्टेबलाइज पोजीशन पे आ पाएंगे? क्योंकि हम देख रहे हैं कि कुछ लोग भी बाहर आ रहे थे, उन्हें दिक्कतें भी हो रही हैं.
इस पर तो अभी मतलब हेडक्वार्टर लेवल पे और सारे के सारे जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं वो मिल करके इस पे काम कर रहे हैं. तो अब कब तक हो पाएगा, लेट्स सी. इस पे कुछ
कल मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन की एक मीटिंग हुई थी, जिसके बाद एक हैंड आउट आया जिसमें कुछ डिमांड्स इंडिगो ने रखी थी और कुछ डायरेक्शंस एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी को भी दी गई कि आपको जो है पैसेंजर्स को फैसिलिटेट करना है. अभी तक अगर बात की जाए जम्मू एयरपोर्ट की, क्या सिचुएशन बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है और किस तरह से आप लोग जो है मदद कर रहे हैं पैसेंजर्स के?
जी, जम्मू के ऊपर पैसेंजर सिचुएशन जम्मू एयरपोर्ट पर बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है, और हमने पैसेंजर्स के फैसिलिटेशन के लिए जो एडिशनल मेजर्स हैं वो लिए हैं, जैसे सिटिंग अरेंजमेंट्स को लेकर के, ठीक है, टॉयलेट्स के लिए क्लीनिंग के लिए एडिशनल मैन पावर डिप्लॉय किया है, राइट. और फूड और बेवरेजेस के जो शॉप्स हैं उनको भी डायरेक्शन दिए गए हैं कि उनकी जो सप्लाईज़ के साथ, और जब तक हमारे फ़्लाइट ऑपरेशंस होंगे हैं जब तक वो अपनी जो शॉप्स हैं, ठीक है, वो ओपन रखें. एंड सिमिलरली जो एयरलाइंस हैं जो भी यहाँ पर पैसेंजर्स जो स्ट्रक हो गए हैं उनको लोकल ट्रांसपोर्ट और होटल अकोमोडेशन और उनका मतलब कोशिश की जाए कि उनका जो बाकी एयरलाइंस या जो भी उनका जो ऑल्टरनेट अरेंजमेंट है वो किया जाए.
सर, प्राइस शूट होने जो है एक बड़ी संकट है. हालांकि अभी तक अगर बात की जाए तो प्राइस बहुत ज़्यादा शूट नहीं हुए, लेकिन आप लोग क्या उस पर भी टैब रख रहे हैं कि बाकी जो है एयरलाइंस ज़्यादा चार्ज ना करे पैसेंजर्स?
देखिए, ये एयरपोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया के परव्यू से बाहर है ये जो प्राइसेस वाला मैटर है, बट हम इस चीज़ को मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं. तो यहाँ पर तो सिचुएशन अभी प्राइसेस की नॉर्मल ही है.
तो सर, पैसेंजर्स परसों एक जो चीज़ की बात कर रहे थे कि उन्हें कोई इंटीमेशन नहीं आ रहा है एयरलाइन की तरफ से, क्या वो मैटर आपने लोकल अथॉरिटी से भी टेकअप किया, जो लोकल लीडरशिप है एयरलाइन की?
जी, बिल्कुल टेकअप किया है, और एयरलाइंस जो है जो अपडेट आ रहे हैं तो अकॉर्डिंगली सारे के सारे जो पैसेंजर्स हैं उनको मैसेज और बाकी मेल्स के थ्रू इंटीमेट किया जा रहा है।
सर, इंडिगो की तरफ से कल जो एक स्टेटमेंट में कहा गया था कि लॉन्ग टर्म फुल ऑपरेशन रिज्यूम करने में फरवरी तक का समय लग सकता है, तो उस टाइम पे जम्मू एयरपोर्ट पर जो दिक्कतें ना आए उसके लिए क्या बाकी एयरलाइन से भी आप लोग बात कर रहे हैं कि या तो उनकी जो है स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ाई जाए, ऑपरेशंस बढ़ाए जाएँ, कुछ ऐसा किया जाए जिससे कि ये जो 11 फ्लाइट्स का गैप हो रहा है इसको कवर अप किया जा सके?
ये एक प्लानिंग का मैटर है, राइट। एयरपोर्ट पर वी आर फॉर एग्जीक्यूशन, राइट। तो प्लानिंग के लिए जो बाकी सब डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, राइट, तो दे आर प्लानिंग टू ईज आउट दिस थिंग।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर हमसे बात करने की। तो द एयरपोर्ट डायरेक्टर ऑफ द जम्मू एयरपोर्ट, ही वाज शेयरिंग डिटेल विद रिगार्ड्स टू द operations that are taking place, and he said that all the things are smooth, and after the yesterday's guidelines that have been issued after the meeting of the Ministry of Civil Aviation with the Indigo operation heads and the team, it has been conveyed to them also to ensure that the people do not suffer here at the airport. Yes.
Well, it's chaotic situation across the country, ladies and gentlemen. Chaotic because as we speak, as of now, as of this minute, 1,000 flights have been cancelled across India. Airfares have shot up the roof, 5x, 6x of normal fares. In some sectors, almost as expensive or more expensive than an international flight. So I want to go across to Shankar, also joining us there from the Thiruvananthapuram airport. Meanwhile, getting pictures from different airports across India right now. Different airports. That's not the Jammu airport. That's I think the Pune airport. But the chaos is going to continue. The bad news is that this chaos is going to continue, according to what Indigo has told DGCA, the airline regulator, saying that it's going to only stabilize, normalize by 5th or 10th of February 2026. February 2026, ladies and gentlemen, for 2 more months, it's going to be chaotic. Indigo has admitted disruptions have arisen from misjudgment, planning gaps. They admit they have failed to plan. They claim actual crew requirement for the due requirement exceeded the anticipation, admitting that they have failed. More cancellations will continue for the next 2 to 3 days. So they have given a warning that these cancellations will continue, but the truth is over 1,000 flights have already been cancelled. Just to give you an idea about how airfares have gone up, I want to show you the number, ladies and gentlemen. We had a number of how much tickets are costing you as of this minute. If you are planning to take a flight from Delhi, first of all, there are no flights from Delhi anymore. Today, no flights from Delhi at all. All flights to and from Delhi have been cancelled. And in case you plan to take a flight, can I ask the directors to also please show us the airfares? The airfares have breached normal figures. Airfares. While I get to the airfare figures, let's also tell you the DGCA report on Indigo says approximately 170 to 200 cancellations a day, but that is wrong. DGCA is also wrong last night when they gave that report, because last evening we got the number. It was 550. 550 flights were cancelled, and today over 600. So it is actually over 1,100 flights, 1,200 flights that have been cancelled, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go across to Shankar. Can I go across to Shankar? We'll go across to him and our reporters joining us from different parts of the country. We have many more videos and photos and stories coming into our newsrooms, and we would like to tell you that we are taking your calls live as well. At the bottom of the screen, we will put out the numbers in case you're stranded at any airport in India. At any airport in India, we've been talking to passengers all of yesterday, and even today we will take your voice. If you're stranded in Bengaluru, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, wherever you are, Mumbai, call us and tell us your story. We'd like to hear from you. Shankar, what's the situation in Thiruvananthapuram? How many flights cancelled there?
As per the latest information, as many as 8 flights have been cancelled from Thiruvananthapuram International Airport, but hundreds of passengers are still being seated inside the airport. They were not even alerted. They were not even informed about the cancellations so far. They are waiting from the morning. When they came for the flights in the morning, there was a quarrel between the passengers and the security staff here. So to settle them comfortably, they were asked to be seated inside the airport, and these passengers are still being seated inside the airport for the last 6-7 hours, and they are getting upset. And some time back, a person came out with all his luggage and quarreled with the security staff as he was not allowed to go outside, and he was not even provided any information about the possible time at which he would be able to fly. Due to this, he quarreled with him, and finally he was allowed to go. The person was going to take a room somewhere here and to plan his alternative journey options, like he was planning to get a train or interstate Volvo bus to reach Coimbatore, and from there he was planning to move to Bengaluru. This is a similar situation of hundreds of passengers still being stranded inside the airport. They all are trying to come out as the Indigo staff are unable to, or they fail to give a proper answer on when they would be able to fly. Now the hotels here are charging double or triple the amounts of the normal fares, and even the interstate Volvo buses are also charging high amounts for their travels for various places, as they are stranded for over 2 hours, 3 hours, and there are still some passengers who are still being in Thiruvananthapuram for the last 3 days due to the cancellations and delays. The worrying part is that the Indigo is unable to give a proper answer on the approximate time when they would
breaking
be able
news. Let's
to
go straight to the breaking news update coming in, because we're getting in more details of how these airlines may be trying to arm twist the government. Sources telling Republic that this could be a manufactured crisis. And why are we saying that? Because rosters were not prepared in accordance with the FDTL rules. There was clear lack of planning by the airline that led to the disruption. Indigo did not plan for the FDTL rules. And without exemption in the rules, disruptions will continue to happen across all airports. There will be hell at all airports in India. Indigo is now pressing for relaxation of the rules. They want the FDTL rules to be relaxed. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears like this could be part of perhaps a plan. Is it manufactured? Shaban, they've been asking for it. It was also there in the DGCA note. Is the government going to give in? Because we are now hearing not just Indigo, but even Air India has asked for some sort of relaxation. Was this a tactic all along then?
With certainty, but look at this entire planning. The fact of the matter is this, that in the ministry meeting that took place yesterday, the indication that largely came in was that there wasn't enough time, something that has now been rejected by the Aviation Ministry and as well as the DGCA. But it seems that not long enough before the DGCA actually caves in, because unless there is a change in the rules, that is with regards to the roster, I'm going to try and explain this to our viewers. Why exactly are we really looking at this kind of a crisis, and whether at all this was a manufactured crisis to begin with? Because remember, as far as the restrictions are concerned with regards to relaxation, there is a stipulated time. It turns out that the DGCA had essentially indicated that this should have been increased to roughly about 48 hours, which means that night operations of Indigo takes a direct hit at this point in time, because one of the biggest concerns that pilot associations have largely had is that there isn't enough rest that is actually given to the pilots, and that is the reason why there were certain changes that have been brought in. The normalization cannot actually take place unless there is, going back to the old rules till for some amount of time, and that's exactly what the airlines are really looking at, because right now with this kind of crisis that has actually hit, it appears that the Aviation Ministry, or for that matter the DGCA, perhaps will be left with no other option. But it seems that the DGCA has now been arm twisted here by the airlines, because it seems that unless there is going back to the old rules, Indigo will not be able to restore their operations till about the month of February, which means that the other airlines too will actually follow suit, which we are already looking at. Within about 48 hours, you have other airlines really increasing their airfares. So that is exactly something that the Ministry of Civil Aviation cannot afford at this point in time. But questions are to be raised for the Civil Aviation Ministry also. Were they not expecting this to really come in, because it directly impacts the profit of the organization, the airline, and that's how exactly they are operating. And this should have been foreseen by the Civil Aviation Ministry to begin with. And if at all they accept the demands that are essentially being made in the form of a report that they have basically asked Indigo to submit, by saying that there is a mitigation plan that they've asked the airline to come up with. But how long will that really hold? Whether at all there is going to be some sort of a solution inside, that's not very clear at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Shravan, stay with me, because there is a video that's coming in from Bengaluru now, just to give us the scale of this crisis. I want to go back to Shravan with some details of what is happening on the ground, but look at the video from Bengaluru that's coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the Bengaluru airport. Look at that. I'd like to pick up the audio, please. Just pick up the audio. Many of you would have used this airport in the past at some point. And those who have know the kind of chaos that we are seeing. This is a top shot of the entire airport, all terminals on the first floor there, completely not just clogged, but people shouting, screaming. Those are screams of people, screams of passengers who are just shouting their lungs out, don't know what to do. Some crazy stories coming into the newsroom, Shravan. I just read a story of a lady who was told by Indigo that a flight is cancelled. She left. She somehow struggled to get out of the airport and go home. And when she reached home, she got a call many hours later saying that, that the flight is taking off. And she said that the Indigo staff had sent her home. And suddenly they're calling her back. And it took her 2 to 3 hours to reach the airport. And she eventually missed the flight. Now, I don't know what's the latest number, but we are estimating it at over 1,100. Shravan, for how long is this madness going to continue?
As I just pointed out, it looks like the DGCA has already caved in. There is a fresh notification that has basically come in from the DGCA. We'll try and see if we can put out the notification. And I'm reading out, which essentially means that the rest period that was actually given, that has now been withdrawn. They're saying that after looking into the concerns specifically to the paragraph stipulating that no leave shall be substituted for weekly rest, in view of the ongoing operational disruptions and representations received from various airlines regarding the need to ensure continuity and stability, it has been considered necessary to review the said provision. Therefore, the instruction contained in the reference paragraph that no leave shall be substituted for weekly rest is hereby withdrawn into immediate effect.
Can we put the BBG plates also? Breaking plates, please. Breaking plates. This is a very big story. Breaking plates. This is a very big story. DGCA has given in. Shravan, that means first of all, it's a pathetic implementation. And they've caved in once again to what airlines have asked for. Indigo has the last laugh.
Immediately with the Association of the Pilots, ALPA. In fact, ALPA had already flagged this off to the Civil Aviation Ministry. And it almost looks like a fixed match going on right now between the Ministry of Civil Aviation and DGCA and the airlines. Now, while this information was already out this morning, Niranjan, if you remember the breaking news that we had put out this morning, that DGCA was essentially asking Indigo that you need to, give us report every 15 days with regards to the compliance and why exactly are they seeking more time for implementation of the new rules. So it seems a clear fixed match between the Aviation Ministry, the DGCA, and of course the airlines itself, when you have the airlines literally arm twisting the regulator body. So it isn't like the regulator body is really doing its job to begin with, because you have the regulator body basically caving into what exactly the airlines want. And simply by saying that look at the ongoing crisis, wasn't the DGCA aware of it? The fact that Indigo did not have...
Shravan, I think Harsha's joining us live. I'm just bringing in Harsha, but I want you to stay with us because we'll also try and get the pilots live, Shravan. This is big because this is exactly what the pilots were saying. Pilots were warning that this is going to happen, Harsha. We knew this is going to be a fixed match. It is confirmed now after this that it's a fixed match. Fixed match confirmed.
Yes, Niranjan, you rightly pointed out. But before this new order of DGCA, which has come today morning, I would like to tell all our viewers and everyone to understand that in the new FDTL order, it was stated earlier that pilots will have minimum weekly rest of continuous 48 hours, including 2 local nights, which is provided that there shall be more than 168 hours between the end of one weekly rest period and the start of the next. Let me tell you, Niranjan, that in the new FDTL, there was not many weekly offs to the pilot, and also there was not a lot of rest period, and also there was only 2 local nights period in which between they were given weekly rest. And now what we have got to know is that in the new DGCA order which has come right now, it clearly says that now leaves of the pilot will not be substituted with the weekly rest, which was earlier happening continuously because of the new FDTL CAR2 requirements, which after DGCA's implementation, after DGCA implementation, Indigo implemented it, but today DGCA had rolled back its only leave and weekly rest substituted order, which it mentioned earlier, giving more, more comfort and confidence to the pilots that they don't have to go on leave, they don't have to not come at work, they can join their work. And DGCA regulatory body and Civil Aviation Ministry is thinking about the pilot. They are with the pilots, so we can say some ease has been given to the pilots, and therefore in the new roster, it has clearly been mentioned that pilots can come back, and this is a rollback according to the new FDTL Para 2, which has been mentioned in the FDTL. It has been revised according to the pilot's ease. Now it is both Indigo, MOCA, DGCA, everyone is trying to come at a solution right now because of a major national aviation chaos, because right now at multiple airports, Indigo aircrafts are right now standing at bay. Nothing could be done because there's no crew, no pilot available. Resignations have happened, pilots have gone on strike, and Indigo is trying to right now call each and every pilot to come back, and regulatory bodies also trying to ease the FDTL order which came out earlier, giving more ease to the pilot. Now it is up to the pilots by when they will join, but right now till 2-3 days the operational issues of the Indigo is not going to stabilize or normalize right now. It is going to happen after 3-4 days only, and the proper normalization will happen next year by 10th of February only, because this is some which Indigo didn't anticipate that they will go through such massive pilot strike after the implementation of the new FDTA CAR rule. But right now with DGCA, this order, now pilots can come back. Some ease they have been given according to, if we talk about the weekly rest and about leaves, which will now not be substituted with the weekly rest. Back to you.
Okay, stay with me. Shavan, now that it's withdrawn, and we suspected it would be, because this is exactly what the pilots' bodies were also suggesting on the debate last night with Arnab, that this is going to happen. Likelihood was high. They've given in. And can we now say that it's going to take at least is it safe to say 2 to 3 days for operations to normalize? Because that also was said in the DGCA order. So they knew the outcome, they knew the solution, but they waited. They perhaps wanted to see how it played out. Eventually the passengers lose. Passengers are the ones who have to pay for this.
Well, if I'm not wrong, Niranjan, all of us won't be really surprised if suddenly you see the entire operations completely normalizing. The reason being is that pilots who were basically earlier working, stretching the number of hours would be asked to do that once again. That is, their weekly rest would be reduced once again, because as per the old rules, this was roughly about 36 hours. Harsha could perhaps maybe come in and perhaps correct me if I'm wrong here, but as per the new rules, it has been increased to about 48 hours. Now that, as I understand, if you go back to the old rules, you're essentially reducing the weekly rest to begin with, which means it is one of the most inhuman approach that has been taken by the airlines to begin with, at the cost of the safety and security of our own pilots here. You're forcing the pilots to operate under inhuman conditions to begin with. You're essentially forcing them to work for longer hours, enabling the airlines to carry out with multiple operations. Now, the reason why I was telling you a short while back that this is a manufactured crisis, at least all signs of a manufactured crisis, it's because there was enough ample amount of time that was actually given, but it's the airline which believes that this is not enough, because what essentially happened following the imposition of the new rules was that the nighttime operations had a direct impact. Indigo has a large number of nighttime operations because they have scaled up their international routes to begin with, and that is the reason why you would essentially have Indigo to curtail down on the number of operations, the nighttime operations that are being carried out. This will directly have a ripple effect, and the ripple effect would be in the domestic aircraft itself. Not just that, if I am to understand, you have had a competition actually taking place between Indigo and Air India, because on the one hand you have Indigo freezing new hirings, which means that Air India has taken an advantage of that, opening up the platform for the pilots. It seems there have been poaching that has actually taken place, and Air India, effectively was also benefiting out of it, because they've had ample amount of, pilots actually coming into the picture to begin with. So if you really look at it, because of the duopoly that actually exists in the aviation sector today in India, a crisis like this has been milked by the airlines. And look at what we had already predicted, that the DGCA would cave in, and that's exactly what has happened.
Yeah, predicted. I'm still on the phone line. Harsha, yeah, many questions are being raised of the Civil Aviation Minister. Civil Aviation Minister perhaps has not been tough with the airlines, is what many aviation experts, pilots have been saying. Captain Minu Wadia is joining us on the phone line. Mr. Wadia, as expected, the government is caved in. Government is caved in and has withdrawn the FDTL rules. So I'd like to get your response to it.
First of all, FDTA rules have to be in place, and what was done earlier was very haphazardly done and was not scientifically done. So for the time being, if they've withdrawn it, it's fine. But this has to be done on a very scientific basis, on the basis of various research carried on, and not by whims and fancies. Earlier, the DGCA had asked the opinion of the airlines. This opinion is absolutely not required at all, because this is a matter of safety and not at anyone's whims and fancies. And your commercial requirements cannot precede over safety. Safety takes precedence over everything else. Therefore, these rules have to be in place, but in a proper manner, not in the manner that DGCA had done it earlier.
So, in your view, do you think the DGCA has been completely sort of, relaxed about the situation? They knew, perhaps it appears like they knew what is going to happen. Even airlines knew how it's going to, pan out, and they waited for it to happen, and then they've eventually got their way. It appears to be a fixed match.
Let me ask you a counter question to your question only. First of all, is DGCA equipped for aviation safety? Are there qualified people in DGCA to comment on our control aviation safety? They have no clue on what they're doing. So, therefore, I'm not even surprised at all.
Well, you blame the DGCA for all of this. Do you think that's the root cause of this?
No, that's not the root cause also. First of all, in the manner that DGCA implemented the FTTL was not the correct manner in any case. But also the very fact that they had informed the airlines that this is going to be the rule from so-and-so date, it was mandatory for the airlines to cater for it or discuss it. In the last 2 years this has been going on. Why didn't the airlines take the trouble to discuss it with DGCA, come to some decision, and then instead of at the last moment cancelling flights and putting all the passengers in a lot of difficulties?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Captain Wadia, for joining us. Blaming the DGCA, of course, for the manner in which this has played out. The manner in which this is played out, DGCA has rolled back the new rules, which is what many aviation experts feared. Captain Wadia, why was this important? If you can just break it down for our viewers, Captain Wadia, why was this new FDTL rule important? And what did it bring to Indian aviation safety and the manner in which our airlines are managed? Sir?
First of all, FDTL is a mandatory requirement in all airlines all over the world. But they cannot be mandated by DGCA by whims and fancies. It has a scientific, researched manner in which it is done, and there are agencies in the world who are doing it. For example, IFAPA is one organization, Flight Safety Foundation is another organization, and ICAO is, after all, the United Nations also. So these organizations have done research on the subject. So let's go by proper research and scientifically implement FDTL, not because it suits some airline or it doesn't suit some airline, or it suits our DGCA or doesn't suit them. It has to be done on very scientific basis, and it is mandatory for all airlines all over the world to follow it.
The DGCA mandates it, and airlines, are not prepared. Was there adequate time that was given? What is your assessment, sir, on where they bungled?
Well, I heard in this case, even though it was not correctly mandated by DGCA, they had given 2 years, or that's what I believe, very extended notice to the airlines. So if the airlines were not happy with it, or if they had some problems, they should have discussed it with DGCA. Why is it that in the last moment of flights have to be just cancelled? Why couldn't they have done it earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, Captain Wadia, for joining us here on Republic TV on this big breaking story. Captain Randhawa is also joining us. Captain Randhawa, you guessed it. They have rolled it back. It's happened, but the passengers are the one hit.
No, I beg to differ. You know, Prem just sent me in this. I was driving. I've stopped the car. Now, this says withdrawal of instructions regarding published weekly rest. Okay, it says, whereas in view of the ongoing operational disruptions and representations received from various airlines regarding the need to ensure continuity and stability of operation, it has been considered necessary to review the said provision. Now, therefore, the instruction contained in the paragraph that no leave shall be substituted is hereby withdrawn with immediate effect. You cannot combine the leave with weekly rest. This is what it says. Hello?
What does this mean, sir? Can you help us, put it in context?
You cannot combine the leave with the weekly rest. So where is DGCA given dispensation?
So how does this help the ongoing chaos, sir?
No, how does it help? It does not. Please try to understand. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, I have been invited for the ministry and from DGCA to join on a WebEx meet. So nothing is decided. It is going to be discussed.
You're saying it's status quo, basically.
Nothing has changed. We will come to know after 3 o'clock by evening what is going to happen.
Okay. You're saying nothing is going to change.
But what is very important is that the accountability should be taken for the passenger inconvenience. The airline has to be made responsible. The accountable manager has to be summoned. All these things have to be done, and the passengers are still lurching. There are 400 flight cancellations in 4 major cities, except Mumbai. So it's just carrying on endlessly.
Okay.
So you mean to say, even if this thing is fixed, it will be fixed in 48 hours? I'm sorry to say. It may take about a month. Remember the days last year, April, Air India, when there was a problem with the crew scheduling software, they had come to the new software. Okay, there were delays, cancellation of so many flights. Cabin crew in Air India Express, how many days? It took more than a month to stabilize. So, what is important for the government, which you people are not emphasizing? The emphasis on the government should be to immediately withdraw 6% increase in the flight schedules given in the winter schedule to Indigo. That is what they are not doing.
Okay, so you are blaming the government for this?
No, why has the 6% schedule increase has been given, approved by the DGCA for in winter schedule for if they didn't have the pilots? Who should be blamed?
Okay.
FIB is to be blamed? No. The blame is on DGCA to have accepted the approval of 6% increase in the schedule.
Right.
Every schedule, summer and winter, the DGCA vets it, checks the crew availability, the infrastructure available with you, the slots available with you, then only approves the schedule. So you can cross-check. 6% has been the increase in this winter schedule from 1st of November.
Okay, fine. Understood. Captain Randhawa, we'll try and get you live. We'll try and get you live in just a bit, sir. We'll try and bring you live on the channel in just a bit. I have some more breaking news coming in right now into our newsrooms. I'd like to go across and get that for our viewers. Getting in two sets of pictures, one from the IGI airport, and secondly, getting in more details of the flight cancellations in Goa. Even in Goa, there have been flight cancellations. That's a video that's coming in from the Kochi airport. It's Kochi airport, and every airport seeing fiery scenes. Clashes almost in all airport. Passengers are getting restless. Many of them waiting. In some cases, people have waited for over a day inside the terminal. 31 Indigo flights have been cancelled from Goa. I have Captain Ehsan Khalid also joining us on the phone line. Mr. Khalid, what do you make of this new order that has been withdrawn, sir? The subject says withdrawal of instructions regarding published weekly rest, saying that the stipulating that no leave shall be substituted for weekly rest. Now that's So what is the implication, sir?
The implication is that the government wants the airline to come back on its feet and get the schedule on time and cause the less inconvenience to passengers. And but airline must have also given a written guarantee to the ministry and DGCA that they would rectify their mistakes and get back to a higher working pilots numbers in a short time. However, I see the problem to be very huge and much beyond FDTL rules and norms. If such cancellations, widespread cancellations continue for another, say, 4-5 days, you would see another debacle of an airline because it cannot sustain the losses that it is making in terms of pure financial terms and in terms of also the public image about Indigo. So I think all stakeholders should get together and solve the problem irrespective of the fact that whether it was fault of Indigo Airline or the management or DGCA, this problem should be solved and a timeline should be given so that the new FDTL rules be imposed upon by all airlines, but in a manner in which such disruptions do not happen. So I see it as a constructive step where the DGCA and the ministry has given some relaxation to the airline, and airline must respond with restoration of services. Withdrawing 6% of the winter schedule and all is not really the solution because they're cancelling the entire day flight in Delhi. It cannot happen because of the FDTL norms. There are more reasons than just a schedule change or 6% increase or FDTL norms. And God forbid, we have seen Jet Airways, we have seen Kingfisher, we have seen Deccan Airlines, we have seen East West. All airlines, when they fold up, this is how they fold up.
Okay, sir.
So we need to be very careful about putting the airline down because it will be 4 times bigger debacle than Jet Airways going down.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. Got your point there. Got your point, Captain Khalid. Thank you for joining us with those inputs. I'm getting in some more breaking news right now that Union Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken to Ram Mohan Naidu, the Civil Aviation Minister. That's a breaking news update coming in. As chaos breaks out in all airports, in almost all airports across India, the Civil Aviation Minister has just spoken to Home Minister Amit Shah. That's a breaking news update that we're getting in right now. That call has happened a few minutes back. It should have happened a long time back, given that the chaos has been ongoing for over 36 hours now. Ram Mohan Naidu, the Civil Aviation Minister, has briefed Home Minister Amit Shah. That call has taken place a few minutes back. It's happened a few minutes back. And ladies and gentlemen, the government is watching closely, of course. A large part of the government also engaged with the ongoing visit of the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who's, as we speak, in a closed-door bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi. We're expecting a briefing around 1:40. We were told we will be getting a joint statement by both sides, and these are pictures coming in from different parts of the country. People are stranded for many hours. 600 and more flights cancelled today alone. 1,200 flights almost cancelled in the last 48 hours. That's over 1 lakh people, 2 lakh people directly affected, millions indirectly affected. Aishwarya Kapoor, my colleague, joining us on the phone line. Aishwarya, what is the government doing? Everyone's asking, what is the government doing on this?
Well, absolutely. 1,300 flights cancelled today, and in total more than 2,000 flights, more than 13,000 passengers in total across the country stranded. The Home Minister of the country has just spoken to the Minister of Civil Aviation, Ram Mohan Naidu, regarding this. We are being told that Ram Mohan Naidu has been told to leave every other issue on the table and get on this, keeping in mind that, yes, Indigo is the largest, and I repeat, the largest private civil aviation company in India right now, keeping in mind that there are also certain officials who have been a part of the government who are part of Indigo, because we were told that Amitabh Kant is also a non-executive director and on board. So a lot of attempts are being made by the government to reach out to the Indigo board to sort the problems. What we are being told initially is that the rule change which was done by the Ministry of Civil Aviation has directly and adversely impacted Indigo, but keeping in mind that there were rules which were told to them at least 45 days in advance. Indigo should have prepared more, which they haven't, and the result is out there for everyone to see. The whole country, more than 200 flights cancelled in the national capital and 1,300 totally today. The Home Minister has now spoken to the Minister of Civil Aviation and told him to get on it and solve it as soon as possible. Niranjan.
Okay, thank you for that. Aishwarya, a quick update on the call between the Home Minister Amit Shah and Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu. We have more breaking news coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Back-to-back updates. Indigo has issued a statement. This is a statement confirming the mess across India. Indigo national statement confirming that all Indigo domestic flights departing from Delhi on the 5th of December stand cancelled until 12 p.m. It's 11:59 p.m. We express profound apologies to all valued customers, stakeholders who have been significantly impacted by these unforeseen events. To support our affected customers, we are offering them refreshments, next available flight options as per their preference, hotel accommodation, assistance in retrieving their luggage and full refunds as applicable. All passengers who are scheduled to fly from Delhi today are requested to get in touch with our ground staff at the Delhi airport for guidance regarding luggage collection. We understand the immense inconvenience, blah, blah, blah. Distress caused, sincerely regret the inconvenience. Can you please tell me, I think we have also on the phone line, Captain Vipul Saxena joining us. Captain, this is just Indigo saying that they will give them refreshments, next available flight options. It's not what they're making it out to be. Saying we'll give you hotel accommodation, assistance in retrieving baggage, etc. There's chaos, sir. There's chaos across all airports. And what do you make of this latest DGCA withdrawal notice, sir?
I am not surprised by this decision of the government because it was expected, and I think this is a glaring example of how an organization can take government for ransom, people for ransom, and everybody for ransom. It is not Indigo who did not know about this, because this rule was supposed to be implemented from March 2024. But all the airlines lobbied and they got some relaxation that we'll do in a phased manner. And first phase finished off in July 2025. And then they all knew that from 1st November, this rule has to be implemented 100%. All other airlines have prepared their, schedule plan and submitted, and they are following it 100%. It's only Indigo who took everything for granted. They knew that when the pressure comes on the government will definitely withdraw this. They very well knew about it. Otherwise, in September month, they are supposed to submit the winter plan. If they had prepared the complete plan, had the number of pilots available, then how this failure happened? It's a well-planned and well-strategic decision taken by Indigo, knowing that once the public pressure comes in, government will give in, and this rule will be withdrawn. And I think they've been succeeded. Now the government, unless government acts really very tough with the Indigo management, and especially let some big roles, big heads roll, I don't think any strong message will go to the other airlines, because tomorrow some other airlines will do the same thing. And day by day, the reputation and the respect of regulations by the Civil Aviation Ministry and DGCA is losing regard and respect in the public eye. I think that has to be restored at the first instance.
I'm just looking at a letter, sir. This letter has been issued by the DGCA. DGCA has put out an appeal. And the DGCA has appealed, asking for cooperation from all pilot associations, sir. They've asked for cooperation from all pilot associations, pilots amid ongoing air travel disruptions. We request earnestly full cooperation of all pilot bodies, associations, pilots across India, saying the support is indispensable to maintaining stable, smooth flight operations during this busy and weather-sensitive period, reduce avoidable delays, ensure passengers are not further inconvenienced, strengthen coordination between pilots and airlines. Suddenly, the DGCA is asking, they're basically asking pilots, former pilots, associations, pilot bodies to please not speak up. That's essentially what they've said. They've said, please don't speak up. Please don't speak up. Just get back to work.
This is, I think, unprecedented when DGCA is appealing to the pilot lobby and all that. But having said that, I think somewhere a trust has been breached by Indigo, because normally what happens is 3 months before airlines give their schedule plan for the next season, and in the month of September, Indigo must have given the schedule. But normally these things are approved by DGCA on the trust basis, which is long-term basis.
Sir,
but
Captain Saxena. Captain Saxena, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I have to quickly go across to a passenger who's joining me live. His name is Sidhu Singh. Sidhu Singh is at the Bengaluru airport, sir. I want you to stay with me and we'll go across to him. Sidhu, can you hear me? Sidhu's at the Bengaluru airport. I saw some chaotic pictures. Sidhu, why don't you show us around? What's happening there, Sidhu? What's happening there? Take us through what you're seeing there, Sidhu. My God.
There's complete chaos. Not a single flight has taken off since the morning.
Huh. And where are you flying to? Sidhu, where are you flying to, Sidhu?
I had a flight to Jabalpur at 11 in the morning, but it has been cancelled. And we are not provided any assistance till now.
And Sidhu, how many flights are cancelled there? Are all flights? Because I heard that over 102, we've reported over 102 flights cancelled. Look at that. I'm looking at the board. Most flights, or if not all, seem cancelled from there.
Yes, majorly all the flights have been cancelled. Any people you talk to will say that their flight has been cancelled. And not anyone is providing assistance on the help desk.
Yeah. Nobody
you
there?
Are with any media connect?
Nobody from Indigo there?
Please. We are Kashmiris.
There's
I belong to Kashmir, and I have a flight to Jammu right now, and I'm stuck over here for a long time. And it has been like more than 6-7 hours that I'm here on the airport. We haven't slept. We are waiting here, and airport staff is too arrogant to reply to our answers. And they are they are giving us ridiculous answers. They are saying that it would fly, then they are saying it's cancelled, then they are saying it's delayed. It has been since morning. We are here standing, and it's Indigo, and it's 6C6497. We are stuck over here.
I got Indigo. See, like I can't even speak properly. We have been resting on benches since the past 24 hours.
My God, and how many hours have you been there, Sidhu? How many hours have you been there? Keep talking.
I came to the airport at 7 in the morning. Since then, we are here. At first, they told that our flight is delayed and it will come at 2, but it has been cancelled now. And we are not provided with any food or any place to rest.
No food, because we were told Indigo's put out a statement saying we're giving food. They have just put out a statement. In fact, let me read out that statement for you, Sidhu. They've put out a statement saying they're offering refreshments, next available flight, hotel accommodation, assistance in retrieving your luggage, full refund.
Hotel accommodation, till now we haven't received anything from the help desk. They are just not replying to anything.
Right. And what is this gentleman from Indigo telling you?
They are just telling that every flight, that all the flight is cancelled, whichever flight we ask them.
Okay. Roughly how many passengers are there, Sidhu? How many passengers do you think are affected there around you? How many people do you see? How many gates? How many flights?
The whole boarding area is affected, and there is this community which is protesting since the morning.
My God. Okay. And everyone is just stuck inside.
Yes.
That's a live shot, ladies and gentlemen, from the Bengaluru airport. We have Sidhu Soni. Sidhu's on the phone line. He's live from the Bengaluru airport. He's flying to Jabalpur, right?
Yes, we had a flight to Jabalpur, but it has been cancelled now.
Flight to Jabalpur cancelled.
And we had no other option.
Yeah, that's a stranded passenger live. I think we have another stranded passenger also live with us on the phone line. Pradeep, stay with me, Sidhu. I have your live shot. You're live right now on Republic, Sidhu. Your camera is live, so stay with me. Because I'm also going to get in Pradeep Bhati. Pradeep Bhati is a spokesperson of Samajwadi Party who is also stuck in Hyderabad. Pradeep Bhati ji, आप कितने देर से हैं? क्या चल रहा है वहाँ पे?
Yeah, hi. I'm here on the airport from last 3-4 hours. My flight was scheduled for today afternoon. But the irony is that I have been not informed at all. When I reached the airport, it was been informed that the flight has been cancelled because there are only 3 modes of communication that you inform your passenger, that is through email or phone or message. I haven't got anything. When I reached the airport, I was told that flight has been cancelled. Also, I asked them that what is the alternative available. They said there is no alternative and they are not even aware. They have the first line of their officers are standing there. They are getting all the wrath of the passengers. There are hundreds and hundreds of passengers being stuck. So what government is trying to do is that create a duopoly or monopoly. These Indigo and Air India is creating that only. And they are not at all bothered about the customers, their own customers. There's nothing. They are old people. There are children available on the airport. There are passengers who are waiting from last night itself, and they're waiting. They're being told that you will adjust in the next flight, available flight. And I have been told that there is no flight from day after till day after tomorrow, and that too they are not even they are not confirming. And with that also there is no food. This is total lie. I'm trying to reach the manager of Hyderabad airport, who is named as Mr. Ibrahim. From last 2 hours, I'm searching to find him, but he's not even available. And I am telling you, all live here from the airport itself, that is what is happening.
Okay.
So this is the real condition of these airlines.
Yeah.
That what they are trying, they are making big profit.
Pradeep,
and when it comes to
Pradeep, I'll have to take a break. I'm going to come back to you, my friend. Stay with me. I'll come back to you. I'll try and get you live also. I'll try and get you live, Pradeep. I'm just letting you go now. I'll get you live in just a few minutes. I have to take a break. Complete mess across India, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting you the live pictures and the live updates, the breaking news coverage here on Republic. If you're stranded, send us your number. We're going to get you live from wherever you are.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Security.
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
सिक्योरिटी
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Live and Breaking with me, Krutat Patnaik, at 2 p.m. this Friday afternoon. Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Goa, Pune, you name the airport and there are tens if not hundreds of Indigo flights that have ceased operations up until midnight or later this evening. The reason? Indigo is unable to make up a roster of pilots and cabin crew to fly your flight. In the interim, you are asked to pay 4 or 5 times the flight fare or pay exorbitant amounts for a hotel stay nearby. What is this national aviation crisis and why is the DGCA now caving in under pressure by putting out and taking away the rules that were put in place for the pilots' safety and fatigue management in the very first place? I'll bring you all those details in this bulletin, but as always, let's start this Live and Breaking bulletin with the headlines. Indigo cancels 31 flights from Goa airport. Only 7 Indigo flights now operating from Goa. Ceremonial welcome for Russian President Vladimir Putin as he arrives at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Complete chaos at Mumbai airport. No flights to take off of Indigo up until 6 p.m. from India's second busiest airport. Chaos continues at Delhi airport as well. No flights until midnight. Effectively, no Indigo flight outside Delhi IGI on Friday. Home Minister Amit Shah now speaks to Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, seeks a report on what is emerging as the biggest national aviation chaos and crisis. And ladies and gentlemen, we are starting this breaking news bulletin with fresh breaking news updates coming in from the stock markets. The stock price of Interglobe Aviation Limited, the parent company of Indigo, has traded at around 5,288.85 per share, down by almost rupees 148.75 as of 12:50 p.m. this afternoon on Friday. The shares of Indigo's parent Interglobe Aviation are plummeting. They have fallen as much as 3% on Friday, December the 5th, after a week marked by heavy disruptions across its entire domestic flying network. The two-day drop has resulted in the newest Nifty 50 entrant erasing almost, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, 16,000 crores of the market capitalization of Indigo's parent company Interglobe. That's the latest breaking news update coming in as consumer confidence in Indigo reaches an all-time high amid widespread blanket cancellations of Indigo flights due to crew management crisis at all major international and Indian connecting points. We have the stocks of Interglobe, the parent company of Indigo, plummeting. My colleague Pranav joins us live on the broadcast with more details. Pranav, what does this mean now for Indigo? Consumer confidence at an all-time low, it seems.
Well, Krutat, it's too early to judge at the moment because we cannot comment as to whether there is anything fundamentally wrong with the company. But the ongoing chaos has definitely, brought to surface some of the underlying issues regarding the airline, such as probably the operations, the rostering, the stress levels in pilots. So investors could definitely be considering this. As far as today's fall is concerned, this is the 6th consecutive fall. And in fact, today, the stock had opened with a gap down. It had started climbing as well, but given that there is further chaos and further cancellations, the stock dropped to about 3%. Yesterday as well, it has dropped 3%. So that's almost about over 6% drop in just 2 days, thanks to all the chaos that is going on at the airports.
And Pranav, it seems that this situation is not going to normalize anytime soon. Yesterday, we saw in the DGCA's clarification that Indigo had submitted that this is expected to now carry on for at least the next 2 or 3 days. And it can even go on until the month of February, until the situation stabilizes up until next month. Now, DGCA is slowly rolling back the regulations, due to which Indigo has not been able to manage their rosters. But how do you see this trend now going? As you mentioned, it's a 6th consecutive day of drop and almost 16,000 crore wiped out of market cap.
Well, absolutely, isn't it, Krutat? In fact, yesterday we were the ones to break how the minutes of DGCA showed Indigo blaming the entire chaos on technicals, operations, weather, everything. And they, in fact, sought more timeline from DGCA and had said that February 10, 2026 is when things are expected to get normalized. We are waiting for a statement from them, but we don't see the chaos, getting any easier. And the stock market is clearly reflecting that.
All right, thank you very much, Pranav, for bringing us those details. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the airline Indigo with about 60% market share in this country and is in a complete state of chaos vis-a-vis crew management. Now, more updates are coming in on how the domino effect of the flight regulations and cancellations of Indigo are now having a cascading effect on other airlines and other airports as well. Indigo's domino is now spilling to Jammu as well, where Indigo has cancelled all operations from the Jammu airport until tomorrow. All 11 flights, ladies and gentlemen, have been cancelled by Indigo Airline in Jammu to cover up the nationwide mess. Now this chaos is now spilling in with regional connectivity also being hampered. As I told you earlier, at Mumbai and Chennai, there has been no takeoffs for Indigo up until at least 6 p.m. The information that we have at IGI in Delhi, which is the most busiest airport of the country, there are going to be no Indigo takeoffs till midnight. And now Jammu is not going to see any takeoffs of Indigo up until tomorrow. All 11 scheduled flights of Indigo out of Jammu have been cancelled, and this is going to be a very big cascading effect now hitting the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, where all flights of Indigo, 11 of them operating outside the Jammu airport, have now effectively been cancelled up until tomorrow. Whether or not the situation will remain same tomorrow, Gursimran, my colleague, joins us live with more details on this story. Gursimran, we do not know whether the situation tomorrow will be same or no, but do tell us, 11 flights of Indigo blanketly cancelled out of Jammu. This must cause a massive disruption in the entire system there.
Yes, Krita, right now we are reporting from outside the Jammu airport, and here you will see that the passengers are coming to seek details regarding their flights, but they are being informed that all flight operations of the Indigo have been cancelled, not only today but also tomorrow. All 11 flights that are scheduled to take place from Jammu airport and scheduled to arrive at Jammu airport all have been cancelled. The Indigo staff has come out with the call center numbers, like we have been showing since yesterday, that they have come out with the 2 call center numbers that can be contacted for the cancellation and any kind of a refund. But when it comes to the rescheduling, they have stopped the rescheduling, and when we asked the airport authorities, they told that Indigo has conveyed them that all the flight operations for tomorrow as well have been cancelled, and this has been done in view of the roster row that we have seen, though DGCA has given a relaxation that they can go immediately with the previous one, but when it comes to the situation prevailing on the ground, the passengers are suffering. The passengers do not know that how to go ahead, because there are some routes which are only operated by Indigo. So these are some routes where the other airlines, including Air Express, Air India and SpiceJet, do not operate. So they are also suffering that the direct connectivity is not there, and if they are looking for any connecting flights, that in this way or that way, they have to come with the Indigo option. That further makes it very difficult for them. So the situation is really concerning, and his airport director was also telling us that the efforts are being made at the headquarters level to resolve the issue, but for now the flights stand cancelled. 11 flights cancelled today, 4 were cancelled yesterday, and 11 will be cancelled tomorrow as well, as this has been conveyed to the airport authorities by the Indigo that they will not be operational tomorrow. So if we speak of the 50% of the operations of the Jammu airport that operates roughly around 21 flights a day, that all operations have come to standstill. Half of the air operations have been halted due to the Indigo chaos that is taking place across the country.
Bringing us those details, ladies and gentlemen, all 11 flights from Jammu have been cancelled. Joining me live now on the broadcast are Captain Kabir Malik, who is a charter airline pilot. Along with that, we also have Mr. Suhail Seth joining us live on the broadcast. Mr. Seth, I would like to come to you first. You know the story, you know what is going on across the country. Do tell us about your response. Where did the government go wrong, and what is the accountability of the airlines here?
So the government has gone wrong by having some idiots run DGCA. Okay, because if these duffers are not able to regulate the airline, it's a serious worry, number one. But here I would not blame the government, because the government acted on a high court order. And you know, our courts, they will give any order not realizing how it's going to be implemented. The only people to blame is the airline. The airline has been totally irresponsible. That's the only word. Irresponsible, unaccountable, non-transparent and dodgy. The CEO, Peter Ibers, must be sacked. If Rahul Bhatia and his ilk can't sack him, the government must revoke his ability to be the CEO of Indigo. What are these people doing? Every airline is operating except Indigo. All have followed the rules. And now the government has withdrawn the rule only to help Indigo. Why? It's nothing but blackmail. That way every airline will say, oh, we will stop our operation, the government will keel. Why should the government keel? Now here's the problem. I have no issues with an airline having a hiccup. All airlines do. But there is a way of communication. They have zero transparency. The airline has not bothered to communicate. The airline doesn't give a damn about people who have, carry-on flights on different carriers and what will happen to that. No compensation has been announced. You issue a stupid bloody press statement which says, oh, we've had these issues. Let me tell you, my friend, doesn't the airline and its rostering department and the OCC, the operations control room, don't those jokers know that there is going to be a problem? Let me give you a personal example. My daughter, 6 years old, and my mother-in-law were to travel from Goa to Bombay. First 9 a.m., then delayed, then delayed, then delayed, then delayed, now cancelled. So even if I had the ability to get onto another carrier, I can't. That is my problem.
Mr. Seth, Indigo says this was an unforeseen tragedy, unforeseen disaster, but their own numbers in November say that 60% of the cancellations of the 1,200 odd flights that they cancelled last month were because of crew shortages. How is it unforeseen?
No, 1 minute. Do I care? Do I run the bloody airline? Is it my fault to have crew? Why should I care? And do not allow these chaps to get away with this nonsense. It is your business as an airline to manage your crew. It is your business as an airline to follow the rules laid down by the government. It is your business as an airline to be transparent, honest, and purposeful with your customers. It is not my business to run Rahul Bhatia's airline. It's his business. And if they don't run the airline properly, then someone needs to be wrapped. And let me tell you one thing. Ordinarily, the people at Indigo have been extraordinarily good. So it's not as if they don't have the capability. I can understand if it was a fly-by-night airline. But Rahul Bhatia has run the airline very well till now. Peter Ibers supposedly runs the airline, and suddenly it's collapsed. So obviously there is a systemic issue which the airline needs to course correct. And here I'm not interested in blaming. Now the tragedy is unfolded. What will you do hereafter? So I have 4 suggestions. Number 1, a 3,000 to 4,000 crore penalty should be levied on Indigo. That's the only way. When you hit people's money, they learn a fabulous lesson. Number 2, passenger compensation must be computed and delivered to passengers in 48 hours. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people can't afford to travel. They have put a lot of their savings or their monthly savings into airfares. What are you going to do to them? Number 3, passengers who've been stranded and who have had multiple carriers to get onto must be compensated adequately for those carriers. Number 4, the pilots or the crew or whoever the hell it is must be taught a lesson. This kind of nonsensical holding people to blackmail has to stop. That's simple.
So while talking on pilots, I would also like to get in a pilot's perspective. On the panel with us is also Captain Kabir Malik. Captain Malik, I would like to understand your perspective. Mr. Said has put into context the passengers' apathy and the airline's mismanagement. But from a pilot's perspective, when the DGCA is compelled to roll back pro-pilot legislation because of this effective duopoly who thinks that they can just go around with a short staff and they can create a nationwide aviation crisis and they can walk away without any consequence, what kind of confidence is this inspiring within the pilots in the community, sir?
See, my friend already described and he mentioned all the issues very well, and from the both side, even the industry also as well as the passenger side also, as he spoke as a pain of a passenger who wanted to fly through airways. And once he reached
I'm so sorry, Captain Malik, to cut you short right now. I have a breaking news update coming in of the Prime Minister and President Putin's bilateral meeting, which has concluded at Hyderabad House. And now, in any moment now, we will have the dignitaries who have arrived, and the President and Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, will arrive for a joint press conference this afternoon. Earlier today, both of them had a bilateral engagement where we saw all the ministers there. There you see Union Minister Piyush Goyal shaking hands with his Russian counterpart there, as most likely the indications and all smiles on the face of Piyush Goyal indicate that a favorable trade outcome is also expected out of this key bilateral meeting between President Putin and India. Remember, Russia remains to be a very major trading partner with India, with having a very big balance of deficit. In fact, Russia exports a lot of goods and services to India, whereas India carries a heavy trade deficit to Russia. So the cooperation between the two nations over the last 77 years of our independence has only deepened, and now all smiles there with key dignitaries, Prime Minister's Principal Secretary, the External Affairs Minister, all of them standing up on the right side, all of them standing and awaiting the Prime Minister's arrival along with President Putin. Both of them will be addressing, ladies and gentlemen, a joint press conference. Big announcements are expected, as all eyes are right now, along with you and of the entire world, on this room and the announcements that are going to be made. Key defense pacts on the radar. Will there be an S-400 5-squadron deal? Whether Su-57 will find any mention? What kind of technology transfer are India and Russia going to talk about? Is there going to be deepening of ties in the nuclear sector? Along with that, where do India and Russia stand vis-a-vis the rupee trade, and what kind of exports of services and human capital is India going to export to Russia? Along with that, the new Chennai to Vladivostok sea route, what kind of trade activity that we can see bypassing international sanctions? All these questions under the radar there, and we see key officials now entering the room one after the other. This is the live shot, ladies and gentlemen, coming in from Hyderabad House in the national capital of New Delhi, where key dignitaries are arriving, all shaking hands with each other. We have Shaktikant Das as well, the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, also coming in inside. On the left side, we have the Russian delegations. On the right side, we have all the Indian delegations, and that's the mood right now, ladies and gentlemen, in the Hyderabad House. That's the latest. We'll be coming right back to this breaking news detail in just a second, but in the interim, I have more breaking news update coming in on the top focus story in the country right now, which is the national aviation crisis. Protests have emerged inside Bengaluru airport as passengers remain stranded there. Passengers with luggage and are, with no much information, are now protesting against the airline inside the Kempegowda International Airport. Those are the visuals of the passengers protesting, clapping, chanting, sloganeering, marching together in unison against the airlines there with no answers, stranded with luggage. You can see passengers with so much stress and so much duress effectively because they are unable to connect to their destinations, and with no resort left, with no answers to be given, they have resorted to protesting inside the Kempegowda International Airport. Let's listen into the mood there. All right, that's the mood, that's the anger, that's the aggression, ladies and gentlemen, inside Bengaluru Airport, the Kempegowda International Airport, where "We want justice" is the chant of the protesters, of the passengers who are now forced to turn into protesters. They were supposed to be sitting on their flight and connecting to their destinations, but have rather now resorted to a protest inside an airport, a situation which they have never imagined that it would come to it. The CISF personnel there also attempting to maintain peace and tranquility so that the law and order situation is maintained at the airport, but all the passengers civilly doing a satyagraha essentially inside the airport premises were chanting slogans of "We want justice." My colleague Niranjan joins us live on the broadcast with more details. Niranjan, now it's complete chaos at the Bengaluru airport where Indigo is not going to fly in up until evening, and now protesters are chanting "We want justice."
Yes, we had one of the passengers, Sandeep, who was live from that particular airport, and Sidhu, another passenger who joined us live a few minutes back, and he sent us some of these videos of the situation inside the airport as we speak. These are devotees, basically. You'll see them, all of them wearing the black robe. They're dressed in black. They're devotees of Swami Ayyappa, and they're headed, it appears like they're headed for a pilgrimage, and they're stuck. They're stuck, and they are walking from one end of the airport to the other, asking for justice. You can put the audio up as well on this particular video, because the chants, they're chanting that they want justice, and they're asking for justice because they've been stranded there. We are hearing that some of them have been there for almost 12 hours, and in some cases people have sent us videos of how they've been stuck there for over 24 hours. Once you've entered the airport, you've checked in, your luggage is there, and then you realize that your flight is cancelled, and they don't even know how to pull out the luggage, and they're just stranded there. And some of them, we spoke to one passenger who was at the Bengaluru airport. At least 2,000 to 3,000 passengers in one part of the terminal itself, near the departure gates. All of them stranded, waiting for some sort of clarity from Indigo, which of course is not coming. Most of the staff is not even there, and the one or two of them who are there are being, of course, are being mobbed and are being asked tough questions, as you should ask the Indigo. But these are people on the ground who have no idea, because the calls are being taken from someone up above, from the Indigo management, and you saw the protests in Bengaluru. Similar pictures also came in from Mumbai airport, from the Delhi airport, and the different airports that have been hit. Delhi airport, all flights have been cancelled, all departures cancelled, and Mumbai operations stalled. Almost Indigo flights have been hit at least till 6 p.m. Similar situation with many other airports that include Chennai. So we are tracking the situation closely. We have many of these videos that came in of passengers marching from one end of the airport to the other, asking for justice. They don't know what to do. They've checked in, their flights are cancelled, they can't even take their bags out. They don't know when to, how to get out of there. And some of them are headed for a pilgrimage. I assume that they were traveling from Bengaluru to perhaps Trivandrum or Kochi, and then to proceed to Shabarimala. They're devotees of Lord Ayyappa, you can make out. And all of them are there, stranded at the airport. They were there, for the last almost 12 hours is what we heard. And of course, tempers running high in most airports, and Bengaluru, one of the worst hit this morning. 102 flights cancelled, could be more by the end of the day.
Indeed, Niranjan, and these are very compelling visuals, ladies and gentlemen, coming in as devotees of Lord Ayyappa Swami there at the Bengaluru's Kempegowda airport, protesting, walking from one end of the airport to another with the slogans of chant that is, "We want justice." A pilgrimage now turned into a protest at the airport. A very concerning visual coming in as Indigo's flights continue to be disrupted for now a third to fourth straight day, a second straight day just in the month of December, and today, effectively till about 6 p.m. in the evening, Niranjan, if I'm not wrong, there are not going to be any takeoffs of Indigo flights from the Bengaluru airport. These are concerning visuals from across the country that we are getting, ladies and gentlemen. In Jammu, all 11 flights of Indigo have been cancelled. In Mumbai, there is going to be no takeoff. And at the... All right, down, down, Indigo, and we want justice. That's the chant at the Kempegowda International Airport, Niranjan, as these are fresh visuals now and exclusive coming on Republic from a different angle there. As the CISF personnel, we can see, are attempting to maintain peace, but the protesters peacefully chanting and registering their protest as Indigo continues to have no answers for them as to why they are unable to manage their rosters.
Well, that's correct. And I'm getting in some more breaking news right now. Shravan is sharing some more details that DGCA has given 30 days to comply with the FDTL rules. And Indigo has been asked to submit fortnightly progress reports. And some more details coming in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the big breaking news update coming in at the moment. The government has now finally, once again, the DGCA has caved in by saying that it is giving a 30-day basically pause for Indigo to comply with the FDTL Indigo regulations, and they have been asked to submit reports every fortnight, that is effectively every 2 weeks, 15 days. Indigo is asked to revise crew rosters, and DGCA has said that crew planning is insufficient. DGCA has put the onus on the Indigo airline for this current crisis, and Indigo has informed the DGCA about the crew recruitment amid the crippled aviation crisis that has been triggered by Indigo. DGCA has now given a 30-day moratorium essentially to Indigo to comply with the FDTL rules. The authority has asked Indigo to submit fortnightly reports on the operations and also revisit its crew rosters. So the first phase was going in force from July 1st, Niranjan. The second phase came into force from 1st of November. But Indigo says it cannot comply. Yesterday in the meeting at the DGCA, they had requested to at least have this moratorium period up until the month of February, when they will start complying with these regulations. An arm twisting tactic essentially from a duopoly partner which shares about 60% of India's market share in aviation. And now the DGCA has had to cave in because there is no other remorse. They are going to allow an exception to the Indigo pilots to go and work on the old rules while all other airlines in the country will comply with the new rules. But Indigo says that we want this period because we are unable to manage our rosters. The government, while mincing no words, has said that the onus is entirely on Indigo, but Indigo now effectively gets a free pass. I have Suhail Seth also live with us on the broadcast. Mr. Seth, you are seeing the developments as they are happening, and all airlines across India are complying, but Indigo gets a free pass for a month.
Now, let me tell you one thing, and let me say this as honestly as I can and with purpose. I'm delighted that Mr. Amit Shah and Ram Mohan Naidu have stepped in and rapped the DGCA on their knuckles. But my friend, nothing will happen until you fiscally penalize Indigo. B, look, the government had to take these steps, to be honest, because otherwise there would have been rampant chaos. And who would have suffered? The citizen. So the government has now taken care of the citizen. Now what the government needs to do is actually warn, hold Indigo to excruciating accountability. Otherwise, Indigo will repeat this bad behavior. This is not expected of an airline which, by the way, I've always said was a good airline. There was nothing wrong with Indigo. Let's be honest. The problem is we throw the baby with the bathwater. Rahul Bhatia ran it well. But today you've seen. So obviously there are systemic issues in the management which Rahul Bhatia and his ilk need to address. Yes, and I'm saying, जब तक आप इनको पैसे की धार से नहीं मारोगे ना, कुछ नहीं होगा.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Seth, there, but only for the want of time, I need to take a short break before we come back, ladies and gentlemen. Our live analysis with Mr. Seth and all our reporters from across India will continue as Indigo is on a complete mess spree with widespread cancellations. Also coming up is the Prime Minister's address in the joint press conference along with President Putin. Do not go anywhere. Republic is live and breaking.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
ये कहानी है बदलाव की, जिसने उन्हें हिम्मत दी, राह दिखाई और आत्मनिर्भर बनाया।
त्रिपुरा सरकार ने महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए कई परिकल्पनाएं शुरू की हैं, ताकि वो अपनी आजीविका खुद तय कर सके।
अब त्रिपुरा की महिलाएं हर क्षेत्र में अपनी निर्णायक भूमिका निभा रही है।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
You give us a solution. You don't tell what.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है।
अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Vladimir Putin, President of the Russian Federation, Shri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of Bharat, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I welcome you all to this ceremony where we shall witness exchange of several MOUs and agreements and a few announcements that reflect the wide-ranging, multifaceted bilateral cooperation under the framework of the India-Russia Special and Privileged Strategic Partnership. We will begin with exchange of two documents, namely the agreement between the Government of the Republic of India and the Government of the Russian Federation on cooperation in migration, and the agreement between the Government of the Republic of India and the Government of the Russian Federation on temporary labor activity of citizens of one state in the territory of the other state. These documents will be exchanged by Mr. Vladimir Kolokoltsev, Minister of Internal Affairs of the Russian Federation, and Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India. The next two documents include the agreement between the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of the Republic of India and the Ministry of Health of the Russian Federation on the cooperation in the field of healthcare, medical education and science, as well as the agreement between the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of Republic of India and the Federal Service for Surveillance on Consumer Rights Protection and Human Well-being of the Russian Federation in the field of food safety cooperation. These two agreements will be exchanged by Mr. Mikhail Albertovich Murashko, Minister of Health of the Russian Federation, and Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India. We next have two memorandums of understandings. These include the MOU between the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways of the Republic of India and the Ministry of Transport of the Russian Federation on the training of specialists for ships operating in polar waters, and the MOU between the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways of the Republic of India and the Maritime Board of the Russian Federation. These documents will be exchanged by Mr. Andrei Sergeyevich Nikitin, Minister of Transport of the Russian Federation, and Sri Sarvananda Sonowal, Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways of India. We now have the exchange of MOU between Messrs. JSC Ural Chem and Messrs. Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers Limited and National Fertilizers Limited and Indian Potash Limited. This document will be exchanged by His Excellency Denis Alipov, Ambassador of the Russian Federation to India, and Sri Vinay Kumar, Ambassador of India to the Russian Federation. The last two documents include the protocol between the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs of the Government of the Republic of India and the Federal Customs Service of the Russian Federation for cooperation in exchange of pre-arrival information in respect of goods and vehicles moved between the Republic of India and the Russian Federation, and the bilateral agreement between the Department of Posts, Ministry of Communications of the Republic of India and GSC, the Russian Post. These documents will be exchanged by His Excellency Denis Alipov, Ambassador of the Russian Federation to India, and Sri Vinay Kumar, Ambassador of India to the Russian Federation. I would like to additionally inform everyone that the two leaders have also adopted a joint statement which would be issued shortly. Both sides have also adopted the program for the development of strategic areas of India-Russia economic cooperation till 2030. And we also welcome the Russian side's decision to adopt the framework agreement to join the International Big Cat Alliance. Ladies and gentlemen, I now request the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs to conduct the rest of the proceedings.
Namaskar, good afternoon, Your Excellency, Mr. Vladimir Putin, President of the Russian Federation, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, Honorable Ministers, members of both delegations, distinguished guests, and friends from the media. We will now have the press statements. May I request Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to give his remarks to the media.
Your Excellency, my friend, Rashtrapati Putin, दोनों देशों के डेलीगेट्स, मीडिया के साथियों, नमस्कार, दोबरे दिन। आज भारत और रूस के 23वें शिखर सम्मेलन में राष्ट्रपति पुतिन का स्वागत करते हुए मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है। उनकी यात्रा ऐसे समय हो रही है जब हमारे द्विपक्षीय संबंध कई ऐतिहासिक माइलस्टोन के दौर से गुजर रहे हैं। ठीक 25 वर्ष पहले राष्ट्रपति पुतिन ने हमारी स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप की नींव रखी थी। 15 वर्ष पहले 2010 में हमारी साझेदारी को स्पेशल एंड प्रिविलेज स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप का दर्जा मिला। पिछले 2.5 दशक से उन्होंने अपने नेतृत्व और दूरदृष्टि से इन संबंधों को निरंतर सींचा है। हर परिस्थिति में उनके नेतृत्व ने आपसी संबंधों को नई ऊंचाई दी है। भारत के प्रति इस गहरी मित्रता और अटूट प्रतिबद्धता के लिए मैं राष्ट्रपति पुतिन का, मेरे मित्र का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, पिछले 8 दशकों में विश्व में अनेक उतार चढ़ाव आए हैं। मानवता को अनेक चुनौतियों और संकटों से गुजरना पड़ा है और इन सब के बीच भी भारत रूस मित्रता एक ध्रुव तारे की तरह बनी रही है। परस्पर सम्मान और गहरे विश्वास पर टिके ये संबंध समय की हर कसौटी पर हमेशा खरे उतरे हैं। आज हमने इस नींव को और मजबूत करने के लिए सहयोग के सभी पहलुओं पर चर्चा की। आर्थिक सहयोग को नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाना हमारी साझी प्राथमिकता है। इसे साकार करने के लिए आज हमने 2030 तक के लिए एक इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन प्रोग्राम पर सहमति बनाई है। इससे हमारा व्यापार और निवेश डाइवर्सिफाइड, बैलेंस और सस्टेनेबल बनेगा और सहयोग के क्षेत्रों में नए आयाम भी जुड़ेंगे। आज राष्ट्रपति पुतिन और मुझे इंडिया रशिया बिजनेस फोरम में शामिल होने का अवसर मिलेगा। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि ये मंच हमारे बिजनेस संबंधों को नई ताकत देगा। इससे एक्सपोर्ट, को प्रोडक्शन और को इनोवेशन के नए दरवाजे भी खुलेंगे। दोनों पक्ष यूरेशियन इकोनॉमिक यूनियन के साथ एफटीए के शीघ्र समापन के लिए प्रयास कर रहे हैं। कृषि और फर्टिलाइजर के क्षेत्र में हमारा करीबी सहयोग फूड सिक्योरिटी और किसान कल्याण के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है। मुझे खुशी है कि इसे आगे बढ़ाते हुए अब दोनों पक्ष साथ मिलकर यूरिया उत्पादन के प्रयास कर रहे हैं। फ्रेंड्स, दोनों देशों के बीच कनेक्टिविटी बढ़ाना हमारी मुख्य प्राथमिकता है। हम INSTC, नॉर्दर्न सी रूट, चेन्नई व्लादिवोस्टोक कॉरिडोर पर नई ऊर्जा के साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे। मुझे खुशी है कि अब हम भारत के सी फेरर्स की पोलर वाटर्स में ट्रेनिंग के लिए सहयोग करेंगे। यह आर्कटिक में हमारे सहयोग को नई ताकत तो देगा ही, साथ ही इससे भारत के युवाओं के लिए रोजगार के नए अवसर बढ़ेंगे। उसी प्रकार से शिप बिल्डिंग में हमारा गहरा सहयोग मेक इन इंडिया को सशक्त बनाने का सामर्थ्य रखता है। यह हमारे विन विन सहयोग का एक और उत्तम उदाहरण है, जिससे जॉब्स, स्किल्स और रीजनल कनेक्टिविटी सभी को बल मिलेगा। ऊर्जा सुरक्षा भारत रूस साझेदारी का मजबूत और महत्वपूर्ण स्तंभ रहा है। सिविल न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी के क्षेत्र में हमारा दशकों पुराना सहयोग क्लीन एनर्जी की हमारी साझा प्राथमिकताओं को सार्थक बनाने में महत्वपूर्ण रहा है। हम इस विन विन सहयोग को जारी रखेंगे। क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स में हमारा सहयोग पूरे विश्व में सिक्योर और डाइवर्सिफाइड सप्लाई चेन सुनिश्चित करने के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है। इससे क्लीन एनर्जी, हाईटेक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और न्यू एज इंडस्ट्रीज में हमारी साझेदारी को ठोस समर्थन मिलेगा। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और रूस के संबंधों में हमारे सांस्कृतिक सहयोग और पीपल टू पीपल टाइज का विशेष महत्व रहा है। दशकों से दोनों देशों के लोगों में एक दूसरे के प्रति स्नेह, सम्मान और आत्मीयता का भाव रहा है। इन संबंधों को और मजबूत करने के लिए हमने कई नए कदम उठाए हैं। हाल ही में रूस में भारत के 2 नए कॉन्सुलेट्स खोले गए हैं। इससे दोनों देशों के नागरिकों के बीच संपर्क और सुगम होगा और आपसी नजदीकियां बढ़ेगी। इस वर्ष अक्टूबर में लाखों श्रद्धालुओं को काल्मिकिया में इंटरनेशनल बुद्धिस्ट फोरम में भगवान बुद्ध के पवित्र अवशेषों का आशीर्वाद मिला। मुझे खुशी है कि शीघ्र ही हम रूसी नागरिकों के लिए निःशुल्क 30 डे ई टूरिस्ट वीजा और 30 डे ग्रुप टूरिस्ट वीजा की शुरुआत करने जा रहे हैं। मैन पावर मोबिलिटी हमारे लोगों को जोड़ने के साथ साथ दोनों देशों के लिए नई ताकत और नए अवसर क्रिएट करेगी। मुझे खुशी है कि इससे बढ़ावा देने के लिए आज 2 समझौते किए गए हैं। हम मिलकर वोकेशनल एजुकेशन, स्किलिंग और ट्रेनिंग पर भी काम करेंगे। हम दोनों देशों के स्टूडेंट्स, स्कॉलर्स और खिलाड़ियों का आदान प्रदान भी बढ़ाएंगे। फ्रेंड्स, आज हमने क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी चर्चा की। यूक्रेन के संबंध में भारत ने शुरुआत से शांति का पक्ष रखा है। हम इस विषय के शांतिपूर्ण और स्थायी समाधान के लिए किए जा रहे सभी प्रयासों का स्वागत करते हैं। भारत सदैव अपना योगदान देने के लिए तैयार रहा है और आगे भी रहेगा। आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध लड़ाई में भारत और रूस ने लंबे समय से कंधा मिलाकर सहयोग किया है। पहलगाम में हुआ आतंकी हमला हो या क्रोकस सिटी हॉल पर किया गया कायरतापूर्ण आघात, इन सभी घटनाओं की जड़ एक ही है। भारत का अटल विश्वास है कि आतंकवाद मानवता के मूल्यों पर सीधा प्रहार है और इसके विरुद्ध वैश्विक एकता ही हमारी सबसे बड़ी ताकत है। भारत और रूस के बीच यूएन, G20, ब्रिक्स, SCO तथा अन्य मंचों पर करीबी सहयोग रहा है। करीबी तालमेल के साथ आगे बढ़ते हुए हम इन सभी मंचों पर अपना संवाद और सहयोग जारी रखेंगे। एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आने वाले समय में हमारी मित्रता हमें ग्लोबल चैलेंजेस का सामना करने की शक्ति देगी और यही भरोसा हमारे साझा भविष्य को और समृद्ध करेगा। मैं एक बार फिर आपको और आपके पूरे डेलीगेशन को भारत यात्रा के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। स्पासिबा।
Thank you, sir. May I now request His Excellency Mr. Vladimir Putin, President of the Russian Federation, to give his remarks to the media.
Уважаемый господин
Distinguished Prime Minister, dear friend, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to sincerely thank the President of the Republic of India, Draupadi Murmu, you personally, distinguished Prime Minister, and all our Indian colleagues for the warm and hospitable welcome accorded to the Russian delegation. The negotiations that we just had with the Indian colleagues, and as well as our talk yesterday with distinguished Mr. Modi in the form of tete-a-tete at his residence, the dinner was great. I would like to thank you for this sign of attention. These talks were very useful. They were held in a constructive and a friendly atmosphere, in the spirit of the special and privileged partnership between Russia and India. I would like to point out that we and Prime Minister Modi have established a close working dialogue. In September this year, we met during the SEO summit in Tianjin. We are regularly having telephone calls. We are personally overseeing some aspects of the development of Russian-Indian cooperation, all strategic avenues, and also we are monitoring the course of the implementation of key bilateral projects. And today, with the participation of our delegations, we have meticulously and substantively reviewed the whole range of relevant questions of the Russian-Indian multifaceted interaction. We exchange our opinions on the relevant global and regional subjects. In the joint statement that we've adopted with Mr. Modi, we've delineated the priority objectives on the further reinforcements of our ties in the politics and security, economy, trade, and humanitarian and cultural spheres. As you saw yourself, we have signed an impressive package of intergovernmental, interagency, and corporate agreements. Many of those agreements are intended to broaden the economic cooperation between Russia and India. And this is entirely natural, due to the fact that our countries are important partners of one another in trade, investment, and technologies. Last year, our bilateral trade turnover has grown by 12%, setting another record. According to different data, this number may look different, but it is generally around $64 billion. Currently, we are forecasting that the results of this year will remain at the same impressive level. At the same time, as I perceive it, we are up to the task of getting this number to the level of $100 billion. And to reach this important goal, we have harmonized the program of development of Russian-Indian economic cooperation until 2030. This comprehensive document gives us a concrete set of objectives. The Intergovernmental Commission, the ministries, and different agencies of the economic bloc of both countries have set objectives to remove barriers hampering the goods flows and capitals, the implementation of joint projects, and deep technology and innovation cooperation. And distinguished Prime Minister gave us a whole list of challenges that deserve the most attentive focus of our government. We will do that. The growth of Russian-Indian commercial links would be helped by the creation of a free trade zone between India and the Eurasian Economic Union. We are already conducting work on the corresponding agreement. I would like to note with satisfaction that our countries are gradually moving to the use of national currencies in mutual settlements. The share of these national currencies is already 96% in commercial deals. We have established resilient channels of credit, financial, and interbanking cooperation. Russian economic operators have broadened the sphere of use of Indian rupees, which we receive from the fulfillment of export contracts. Russian rubles are being used to provide loans for large joint projects. We are also seeing successful partnership in energy. Russia is a reliable supplier of oil, gas, coal, and everything that is required for the development of India's energy. We are ready to continue uninterrupted shipments of fuel for the fast-growing Indian economy. Of course, the bilateral interaction in energy does not limit to that. We are also conducting a flagship project to build the largest Indian nuclear power plant, Kudankulam. 2 out of 6 reactor units have been already connected to the energy network, and 4 are still under construction. Getting this nuclear power plant to full power output will give an impressive contribution to the energy requirements of India. It will help supply Indian enterprises and houses with cheap and clean energy. We presume that we could talk about the construction of small modular reactors and floating nuclear power plants, and also non-energy application of nuclear technologies, for example, in medicine or agriculture. We are working with our Indian partners to build new, effective international transport logistic routes, including the projects to create an international north-south transport corridor from Russia or Belarus from Russia and Belarus to the Indian Ocean coast. There are large opportunities for bilateral trade due to the broadening of the trans-Arctic transport corridor infrastructure, including its main artery, the Northern Sea Route. There are many other sectors of the economy where Russia and India have garnered positive experience. We are conducting joint initiatives in industry, machine manufacturing, digital technologies, space exploration, and other science-intensive avenues. For example, in accordance with the commercial agreement signed during the visit, there will be a large Russian-Indian pharmaceutical factory built in the Kaluga region in Russia. We will be starting the production of high-quality anti-tumor medicinal drugs using the advanced Indian technology. In their turn, the Russian enterprises will be establishing the production of industrial products in the framework of the Make in India program, which is a hallmark project of distinguished Prime Minister Modi. The prospects of the reinforcement of the interaction of Russian-Indian entrepreneurs and business circles are discussed in detail during the ongoing business forum in New Delhi. We are going to take part in the plenary session of this event today together with Mr. Modi. The humanitarian cooperation between Russia and India is also of a multifaceted character. Our peoples throughout centuries have been sincerely interested in the traditions, history, and spiritual values of each other. Scientific and educational contacts, exchanges from among the youth and public are also actively developing. The regular alternating festivals of Russian Indian cinema are always popular. From year to year, we see the increase in tourist flows. Today, the Russian TV channel RT is starting its broadcast in India. The new channel will undoubtedly help the Indian audience to better know Russia and Russians, and also to receive an objective information regarding what is going on in our country today. While discussing the key global and regional problems, we have confirmed the consonance between the positions of our countries. Russia and India are conducting independent and self-sufficient foreign policy together with our like-minded countries in BRICS and SCO, and from among other countries of the global majority. We are promoting the processes of forming of a more just and democratic multipolar world order. We are defending the main principles of the international law enshrined in the Charter of the UN. Among them, the right of any country for its own way of development and the preservation of their cultural civilizational identity, respect for sovereignty, careful balance of interests of all participants of the world community. As state founders of the BRICS, Russia and India have done a lot of things, and continue to do more to increase the authority of the organization. As you know, next year India will assume the chairship, and the BRICS will provide all necessary assistance to our Indian friends in the work on the relevant BRICS agenda. I would like to point out Russia and India are traditionally closely cooperating in the military technical sphere. Our country, for the last half a century, has been helping to arm and modernize the Indian Army, including the Air Defense Forces, Aviation, and the Navy. In general, we are undoubtedly satisfied with the results of the negotiation we just had. We also, ahead of us, we have the meeting with the President of India, Madam Murmu. But even now, I can express my confidence that the current visit and the agreements reached will help the further deepening of the Russian-Indian strategic partnership for the benefit of our countries and the peoples of India and Russia. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. That concludes the press statements. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your presence.
All right, so there the joint statements, the joint press statements rather of the two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President Putin, both touched relevant points. So if you look at what Prime Minister had to say, he mentioned about the signing of the document for strategic and economic partnership till 2030. Prime Minister mentioned how various agreements signed between the two respective governments are going to strengthen the economic relationship even further. He mentioned about the fact that there are many aspects of the economic relationship which need extra focus. He did not mention balance of trade, but the fact that he spoke about Russian investments, he spoke about joint projects, was essentially aimed at balancing that situation. Prime Minister spoke about how India is ready to help in the case of the Europe war on the side of the Russian president. He mentioned about India's upcoming BRICS presidency next year, and of course the warmth with which he has been received by his friend Prime Minister Modi. We continue our coverage on this on the other side of a short break.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
ये कहानी है बदलाव की, जिसने उन्हें हिम्मत दी, राह दिखाई और आत्मनिर्भर बनाया।
त्रिपुरा सरकार ने महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए कई परिकल्पनाएं शुरू की हैं, ताकि वो अपनी आजीविका खुद तय कर सके।
अब त्रिपुरा की महिलाएं हर क्षेत्र में अपनी निर्णायक भूमिका निभा रही है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
पहलगाम में हुआ आतंकी हमला हो या क्रोकस सिटी हॉल पर किया गया कायरतापूर्ण आघात,
Prime Minister Modi hails 25 years of India-Russia ties, calls how Russia stood with India post-Pahalgam attack. Russian President Putin says ready for uninterrupted flow of fuel to India. DGCA gives in to Indigo, rolls back FTTL rule amid nationwide collapse of operations. All Indigo domestic flights from Mumbai cancelled till 6 o'clock this evening after airline runs short on crew. After Mumbai, Indigo says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport till midnight tonight. Union Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to Ram Mohan Naidu regarding the aviation chaos. It started with the FTTL rule that was basically introduced by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, which effectively meant more rest for the pilots, resulting in a direct impact on the operations of Indigo. Over the last 3 days, there's been a massive chaos that has ensued. Indigo hasn't been able to restore services. Effectively, what we are seeing right now on your screens, the result of the number of cancellations that have taken place across multiple cities, starting from the national capital all the way to Raipur also. Almost everywhere, there was absolute pandemonium, with no information being provided to the passengers in terms of whether at all the services will resume. Most of the passengers landed up at the airport without much information being given to them. Some passengers have reported to have been stranded for almost over 12 hours. Some to such an extent that they have been stranded on the tarmac itself. It seems that the DGCA has now given to some of the rules that have been rolled back. In fact, DGCA has now given 30 days to Indigo to comply with the FTTL rules. In fact, the regulator has asked Indigo to submit fortnightly a report of operations and also revise its crew roster. Among some of the demands that have been made by the regulator, one is with regards to coming up with a crew roster that is going to normalize the situation. Indigo, in fact, in the meeting had told the Civil Aviation Ministry, which included DGCA authorities, that they are unable to actually restore operations because of the new rules that have been brought in. But the DGCA has now put the entire blame on the airline itself, saying that the normalization is the responsibility of the airline itself. As far as the rules are concerned, it seems that they've given in to the demands that were made by Indigo to begin with. Essentially, what you see is a result of almost arm twisting being done by the airline of DGCA. There is absolutely no word really with regards to how exactly does the Civil Aviation Ministry really rein in these airlines when it comes to some of the airfares that have spiked over the last 24 hours itself. In fact, domestic routes where these airlines are operating, they are now charging almost double than what they have in the past, resulting in absolute profiteering of a national crisis that's taken place. Across almost all cities, the situation seems to be similar. There's absolute chaos that we are witnessing across in Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, as well as other tier 2 cities where the situation still remains the same. There's palpable anger amongst the passengers almost everywhere. They're basically demanding answers, and it's a frightful mess that we are basically witnessing right now at most of the airports. As far as normalization is concerned, perhaps it's going to take some more time before things return to normalcy. But in the last 3 days, what we have essentially witnessed are the following: that the FTTL rules that were introduced by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, enabling the pilots from each of these airlines to have an added rested period, which was increased to about 48 hours. Now, returning to the old rules, which essentially mean that the pilots get only about 36 hours. Questions about passenger safety was also being raised in. Let me go across to my colleague Shambhavi, who's joining me from the national capital at the Delhi airport. Shambhavi, what's the situation like right now?
Seeing passengers coming out of the airport very in a miserable state. They are constantly complaining about the rude behavior, about how Indigo, apart from the cancellations and delays, Indigo staff has been of zero help. There has also been report of one person fainting in the middle of the airport because of lack of food and water, and also constant stress, because we are constantly reporting, we have constantly spoken to the passengers who've been stranded on the airport for more than 36 hours at a stretch, and has gotten zero answer from Indigo's end. And now we know that the DGCA has given 30 days period for Indigo to comply with the FDTL rules, because Indigo has earlier admitted that it failed to assess how many pilots or crew it would require to completely comply with the FDTL rules. And it has also asked Indigo to file a progress report every 15 days to make sure that the roster system is completely well complied with. The crew is trained, there is sufficient crew, and that this crisis, which is leaving hundreds and hundreds of passengers miserable, gets better very soon. Back to you.
That was the report coming in from the national capital, from the Delhi airport, where over 200 flights have been cancelled. Getting in some more breaking news right now with regards to what's really happening in Mumbai right now, where this morning at least over 60 flights have already been cancelled. What you see right now, the situation remains absolutely same, with no relief being given to the passengers there. Most passengers have been complaining about information not really trickling in from the airline itself. All Indigo flights, in fact, have been cancelled from Mumbai till about 6 o'clock this evening. And that's the reason why you're looking at these long queues outside the Indigo counter at the airport. No Indigo flight would be moving out of Mumbai's airspace till about 6 o'clock this evening. My colleague Meenakshi has been speaking to several passengers there. Meenakshi, were you able to speak to any of the airline staff members? What exactly are they saying now that the DGCA has announced that they can go back to the old rules, essentially allowing the airline to bring in the crew members? Are they in a position to bring any of the crew members to try and perhaps soften the blow?
Yes, Shavan, I tried to speak with Indigo staff, but they are not responding in this counter, in this very counter. This is Mumbai Terminal 2 Indigo counter. We are standing outside there, and I tried to speak with that Indigo staffs, but they are not responding any of my questions. And you can see here now the long queue, and the main problem is that the passengers has no idea about their flight. They even don't know their flight has been cancelled. You can see here a long queue and passengers waiting with their luggages. Some of them here for more than 7 to 8 hours without any clarity on when their flights will take off. Many passengers are telling us they receive messages about delays at the very last moment, and some say flights were cancelled after boarding had already begun. Let me talk to some passengers. Sir, what is your experience? You are flying, your ticket was with Indigo.
Yeah.
What is your experience? What happened? Do you have any information regarding cancellation?
I think it's a bad experience, but that's life.
So what next? What will you do now?
I don't know. I'm just waiting for more information, and I have to go to Banaras, but I'm still waiting. I don't know what to do.
So, so passengers are waiting for so long. Ma'am, for how long you have been waiting here?
From 1 o'clock till 12:42.
What happened? What they are saying now?
मुझे मालूम नहीं what happened, but when I came and they go to 7th departure gate, वहाँ जाने के बाद मैं पूछा, no, all Indigo flights are cancelled. You go and enter that office. Then when I came here, I saw this long queue. I wait for that. From there to I am coming here.
So you don't have any information also. Your flight has been cancelled. From how long you were waiting here? What is the information about?
2, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours.
So what they are saying?
Nothing. What they will say? They are not providing a solution. Right from past 4 days, this has been happening.
You got information regarding your flight?
Just 10 minutes before arrival, I got to know the flight has been cancelled. When I just got out of the cab, I received an email stating that the flight is cancelled. And I have been calling their contact center since yesterday night, because I have been watching this news going on. So I just want to confirm whether the flight would be there or not, whether it will be getting cancelled or not. But no one is responding. The call center number is not getting connected itself.
Not reachable call center number also. So there are lots of passengers who are facing challenges here. Ma'am, what next? Do you have any information regarding your flight?
No, my flight is cancelled. That's fine. We're just claiming our baggage, etc. So yeah. So I think, and she's doing a good job answering everybody's queries.
Okay. So have you got any information regarding your flight cancel?
नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं, इन्फॉर्मेशन वगैरह ना कोई मैसेज. आप रिफंड के लिए भी बोला, लाइन में लगोगे तो रिफंड मिलेगा, नहीं तो नहीं मिलेगा, ऐसा है. ये सब परेशानी हो रही है. 2-3 घंटे से ज़्यादा हो गए लाइन में खड़े, कोई भी प्रकार की सपोर्ट हेल्प नहीं हो रही.
Okay, so they have not got any information regarding their flight cancellation, and they have no option now. One passenger I spoke with, he said he had to book any other ticket with other airlines, but that airline's ticket is so high, it's 5 times high, so they are facing really challenges. There is no assistance from Indigo staff, and they don't have any idea what to do next. Shavan.
Meenakshi, I'll request you to stay on with us. What's even more shocking is that now passengers are essentially being asked by the airline to stand in the queue so that they could actually get their refund. And that is exactly why you're seeing this long queue outside Mumbai airport. Let me now quickly take you through the situation in Bhubaneswar. It seems that many locations, there has been a situation where most of Indigo flights haven't either taken off. Some have been diverted to another location because many of the parking bays have been taken over by these flights which are not operating at this point in time. But there is absolute chaos that we are witnessing right now in Bhubaneswar. These are the latest images now coming in from Bhubaneswar, where we also reached out to the airport director, who has now said that no flight operations are on schedule from Bhubaneswar airport. In fact, 11 flights have been cancelled as per the latest reports, as trouble essentially mounts for the airline. On your screens right now, similar images now also coming in from Bhubaneswar. Several passengers have lost their cool and have essentially taken on the airline staff, asking them for answers. But the reality is that these are frontline staff workers who have now to take the brunt of those who are sitting behind glass doors here in the national capital in Gurgaon, where Indigo basically operates from. But there has been absolutely no word really coming in from them, barring a templated response that came in when media did actually ask them a question about how exactly do they intend to normalize the situation. There's a templated response that came in from Indigo. Let me now take you through the images coming in from Hyderabad, where it seems it's a similar situation once again. Over 32 flights have already been cancelled in Hyderabad. This includes departure as well as arrival flights that have been cancelled. These are the latest images, where mostly near the boarding gate you had passengers standing there seeking a response from the airline staff, and the airline staff mostly have been unable to answer these questions because it's no longer at the hands of these frontline staff members. Take a look at what's really happening in Hyderabad right now.
4:30 to 5. नहीं, वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है. कल के लिए कुछ भी नहीं, वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है ना. नहीं. हाँ. फिर अभी ऐसा डिले करे तो हम कैसा जाते पैसेंजर लोग? ये क्या करेंगे? ये तो वो तो एम्प्लॉय है, एम्प्लॉय. नॉट एन ऑप्शन. वो बोला क्या राइट, कैंसिल नहीं होगा. 4:35. 4:30 to 5. 4:35. नहीं, वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है. कल के लिए कुछ भी नहीं, वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है ना. नहीं. हाँ. फिर अभी ऐसा डिले करे तो हम कैसा जाते पैसेंजर? नहीं, वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है. कल के लिए कुछ भी नहीं, वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है ना. नहीं. हाँ. फिर अभी ऐसा डिले करे तो हम कैसा जाते पैसेंजर लोग? ये क्या करेंगे? ये तो वो तो एम्प्लॉय है, एम्प्लॉय. नॉट एन ऑप्शन. वो बोला क्या 4:35. 4:30 to 5. 4:35. नहीं वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है
कल के लिए कुछ नहीं
नहीं वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है ना
नहीं
4:35 4:30 to 5 4:35
वो नहीं वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है
कल के लिए कुछ
नहीं वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है ना
नहीं
हाँ फिर अभी ऐसा डिले करे तो हम कैसा जाते पैसेंजर लोग
ये क्या करेंगी ये तो
वो तो एम्प्लॉय है एम्प्लॉय
वो बोला क्या 4:35 4:30 to 5 4:35
वो नहीं वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है
कल के लिए कुछ
नहीं वो भी कंफर्म नहीं है ना
नहीं
हाँ फिर अभी ऐसा
From Mumbai to Bhubaneswar to Hyderabad and now to Ahmedabad. Similar story. Absolute chaos that we are witnessing inside the airport despite the kind of protests that are actually taking place at various airports. It seems that the airline does not really care because so far almost all the passengers that Republic TV spoke to, almost everyone had the same refrain. And they're essentially saying that none of them have been told about when exactly will their flight depart, and if at all it has been cancelled, why is it that the airline cannot inform the passengers? So far, there has been only one statement that has been issued by Indigo, where they've essentially apologized by simply stating that it is going to take some time for a gradual normalcy to take place. Look here, what's really happening at Ahmedabad airport, where once again at the counters you've had people thronging the counters there, seeking a response from these frontline workers of the staff members of the airline. It seems that the top management of the airline does not really care about their own frontline officials who have to bear the brunt of decisions that have been taken inside classrooms right now here in the national capital. Swarali is joining us from Ahmedabad. Swarali, what's the condition right now? Because you were there at the airport a short while back, but when you spoke to the passengers, almost all of them had the same complaint. I'm told that the MOS Civil Aviation has also landed in Ahmedabad. Did you manage to catch it?
Exactly. Let me tell you about the current scenario at the Ahmedabad airport. And when we tried to talk to passengers over there, they were always banging the counter at the Indigo's window because they are frustrated, they are agitated. There is no proper response from Indigo's side. Now, a lot of passengers are flying. They have connecting flights, and a lot of people have the flights rescheduled after 2 days, and again the rescheduled flights have been cancelled as well. Several passengers are not getting their luggage. They have their medicines inside the luggage, but on the other hand, passengers are also saying that all these workers who are present at the window, they are not authorities present over there. They were demanding that Indigo authorities should come on ground and talk with passengers because no solution is being provided to the passengers and there are long queues even at the Ahmedabad airport. It's utter chaos. No proper communication is being done by the company's side.
Swarali, I'll just request you to stay on with us. I just want to quickly recap of all that we have got so far in our newsroom in terms of the decisions that have been taken so far. A short while back, DGCA had basically announced that they're rolling back the rules that came in as far as the FDTL norms are concerned, essentially allowing Indigo to go with the demands that they had made in the meeting that took place at the Civil Aviation Ministry yesterday. This morning, I'm told that there is a war room that has been created by the Civil Aviation Ministry, but clearly, if this is the condition at the airport, it seems that the Ministry of Civil Aviation has completely failed in doing their job, or perhaps getting the airline to really act as soon as possible. And this is actually happening over the last 3 days itself. Now, This happens to be India's biggest aviation meltdown, which is basically centered around the national capital. All Indigo domestic departures from Delhi have been cancelled till about midnight, triggering massive travel disruption. There have been long delays, sudden cancellations, and packed terminals have left hundreds of passengers stranded as Indigo's operations remain deeply unstable for the fourth straight day. Take a look at this detailed report.
Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport is witnessing the worst aviation chaos. The Indigo Airlines announced that all domestic departures from Delhi stand cancelled till midnight, leaving passengers scrambling for alternatives.
मैडम देखिए, डोंट गो इंडिगो। हमको इतनी दिक्कत आई है। एक बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हमारा सेमिनार था, अभी पूरे बैंगलोर से आए हैं, जो भी आए हैं एयर इंडिया से अदर फ्लाइट से आए हैं, अभी भी 70 लोग रुके हैं। रात 1 बजे आया है, कोई 12 बजे आया है, रीशेड्यूल करके दे रहे हैं। तुरंत 10 मिनट के बाद बोल रहे हैं कि आपका लखनऊ से उधर से इधर से फिर कैंसिल कर लो, पैसा ले लो। ओके, मैं बोलता हूँ कि वर्स्ट सर्विस है, डोंट गो इंडिगो। हम इतना टेंशन में आ गए हैं, इतना इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोग्राम है, क्या करेंगे आप इसके बारे में?
इतना तंग हो चुके हैं कि हम लोगों को इतना ये है कि हम लोगों का 5 दिन का प्रोग्राम था। एक फ्लाइट इंडिगो वजह से पूरा 5 दिन का प्रोग्राम हम लोगों को नुकसान कर दिया।
घटिया सर्विस है,
पूरा घटिया सर्विस है।
The aviation crisis triggered ripples across the country. Indigo's flight network continued to unravel, with hundreds of cancellations and delays at major airports. Indigo issued a detailed statement over the issue, acknowledging a significant disruption in its network over the past few days. The airline firm apologized to its customers, saying its teams are attempting to stabilize operations as quickly as possible amid heavy congestion across airports.
What we've been told by the passengers that we've been able to speak till now, they're telling us that the entire airport has turned into a railway station with people lying there on the floor everywhere, because Indigo has now, of course, just a few minutes back, Indigo has announced that all the flights stands cancelled.
The crisis stems from a combination of pilot shortages and miscalculations in rolling out the second phase of flight duty time limit rules, which mandate longer rest hours and tighter night duty limits. With large-scale cancellations ongoing, Indigo has begun cutting flights to ease pressure on its schedule, while further stating that full operation efficiency will be achieved by February 10th next year.
Well, amid Indigo's unprecedented operational meltdown, which has essentially grounded over 1,000 flights nationwide, including all domestic departures from Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport until midnight, what we are also witnessing is that hotels in the adjacent AeroCity area is essentially witnessing a dramatic price surge. Properties like the Hyatt Delhi residence are commanding about 41,000 rupees per night. JW Marriott Roseate House over around 30,000 rupees, and even mid-tier options such as Urban Tree and Cardinal Express have spiked to about 31,000 to 36,000 rupees, far exceeding the typical rates amid the chaos of pilot shortages, tech glitches and revised flight duty norms. Now, this opportunistic hike, with some rooms reportedly exceeding about 74,000 rupees, has drawn sharp criticism from passengers already facing delays, lost luggage and protests, prompting the government intervention on fare controls as the airline essentially scrambles to restore services by mid-February. In fact, this has happened parallelly what we have essentially seen in the last few days as a number of cancellations have taken place. And remember, in most cases, there's been no accommodation that has actually been provided by the airline itself. Despite the demands that have been made by passengers who've been stranded there for hours put together, there's been no alternative sources that have been arranged by the airline itself. Shambhavi is also joining us. Shambhavi, you did try reaching out to some of the hotel owners in the area to get a sense of what's really happening and why exactly are they really profiting at a time of complete crisis. What more are you picking up from the associations?
So from what we know, we have the first-hand experience from the aggrieved passengers. We've spoken to several people here who've tried booking their rooms just because their flights have been delayed, for more than 38 hours and they were getting zero reply. And rooms which are usually valued at somewhere around 7,000 to 10,000, even mid-tier rooms, they are priced somewhat just triple the amount, and the rates are starting from 30,000. We've been constantly checking the rates of the nearby hotel rooms, leaving alone the 5-star and 3-star hotels. The hotels which are second tier or very mid-tier, we can see that there is a surge in the prices. And not just the hotel rooms, the other airlines, be it Air India, be it SpiceJet, all these flights are also profiteering, taking undue advantage of these passengers who are stranded. Somebody is stranded from Chennai, somebody is stranded from Pune, and all of them. And this entire situation, we have also constantly showing the visuals from inside the airport, and you can see that people are practically lying down in the middle of the airport on sheets. You can see several people, because Indigo, let alone actually providing any accommodation, the Indigo is refusing to even interact with the passengers, to even answer their questions if their flight is delayed, if their flight is cancelled after all, so that they can start looking for alternatives. So there has been a very shabby presentation of service from Indigo's end. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Shambhavi, for getting us the latest details. We'll be tracking this very closely, as the situation is far from normal at this point in time. The chaos has basically impacted hundreds of Indigo's flights as well as passengers there, as cancellations continue from across different parts of the country.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Security.
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Security.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Security.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In a joint statement that has now been issued by India and Russia, the emphasis has also been on how exactly will Russia really continue with the war in Ukraine. Is there an end game to it? Now, in the joint statement that was issued by India and Russia, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced that India and Russia have essentially agreed on a 2030 economic cooperation program that's aimed at diversifying bilateral trade and investment after his talks with President Vladimir Putin. Prime Minister Modi also said the roadmap will accelerate the growth across priority sectors and deepen long-term economic engagement between the two countries. In fact, let's first take you through what is it that the Prime Minister had to say after the bilateral talks that have taken place, and once again reiterating the position that India hasn't taken any sides. India is on the side of peace. Now, that is one of the biggest talking point, keeping in mind that this is a messaging that the Prime Minister has also done to the Western world right now, who would be very keenly watching the two leaders together. Take a look at what the Prime Minister had to say earlier today.
फ्रेंड्स, आज हमने क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी चर्चा की। यूक्रेन के संबंध में भारत ने शुरुआत से शांति का पक्ष रखा है। हम इस विषय के शांतिपूर्ण और स्थायी समाधान के लिए किए जा रहे सभी प्रयासों का स्वागत करते हैं। भारत सदैव अपना योगदान देने के लिए तैयार रहा है और आगे भी रहेगा। आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध लड़ाई में भारत और रूस ने लंबे समय से कंधा मिलाकर सहयोग किया है। पहलगाम में हुआ आतंकी हमला हो या क्रोकस सिटी हॉल पर किया गया कायरतापूर्ण आघात, इन सभी घटनाओं की जड़ एक ही है। भारत का अटल विश्वास है कि आतंकवाद